Looks like it's live.
Excellent. That's what we like. So this is another episode of Asked and Answered. And I have basically, I was actually trolling through, my orientation here is incorrect. Uh-oh.
We also
I'm getting an echo.
video.
Oh, I know what's going wrong. There we go.
There you go.
Did you hear me though?
Yes.
Okay.
Hear you. We just lost your video.
Okay. Again, it's that clunky Zoom thing, trying to integrate with YouTube, and hopefully they fix that at some point. But anyway, this is yet another episode of Asked and Answered. So I usually when I post in the groups asking for questions, nobody posts questions. So I took it upon myself to scroll through antique typewriters, typewriter collectors, and I just grabbed some, and I tagged the people, so hopefully they'll tune in and get their answers. I see a few of them here in the chat actually. So yeah, on Zoom actually, and yeah, but they're not on video. Roll through. Ooh, let me.
Brian, good.
There we go.
Hey.
Hello.
Yes. So I gathered the questions, and then when I was posting this morning, saying that we were going to do Asked and Answered, someone did add a question after the ones that I gathered. So I'm very excited.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Let us begin.
Yes. But first, before I do, how is everybody?
We're fine.
Good.
Excellent. We have the kitty drumming already.
Yeah, she wanted to be up here, so she gets pounded on a little bit.
Yeah. And then she gets enough and leaves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. The comment disappeared. Let's see. Sarah Clune Hartman says, "Hi, it's Lucy the Lurker."
Oh boy. I feel lurked upon.
I know, huh? All right. So I'm glad everybody's doing well. First, before I get to the first real question, I have a question of my own. And let me get my prop. I have a prop for this one.
Oh boy.
All right, so here's the prop. And the question is, if you take stale coffee and nuke it in the microwave, does it become fresh again?
No.
Well, if you nuke it, it becomes radioactive.
There you go. But anyway, cheers to everyone.
Constituent atoms, I think it would become.
Yes. Regardless, it tastes pretty good, actually. I actually sweetened it with honey. So, all right. So the first real question comes from Lucy Bonner. So she says, "I bought an old Royal Quiet Deluxe, but didn't realize the bottom has a lot of rust. Pieces still move, but all the metal has a fine layer of rust. I've gone over it with a steel wool bit so far, but not sure how to get deeper than that." So any tips on removing rust?
Well, I know two of us are from Arizona, so we've never actually seen a rusty typewriter. So
that is true.
Yeah, I've gotten stuff shipped to me from other states that have rust on it.
how do you deal with that?
I haven't yet, really. One of them is a parts machine. The other ones I haven't messed with, so I don't know.
Well, come on.
I do think in the past there was talk of vinegar. I think someone mentioned vinegar.
Mm-hmm. And other people talk about evaporust being good.
Yeah.
Evaporust. Yeah, that was the one. Yeah. So those would kind of be our suggestions.
Our unknown
Yeah.
effectively.
Well, when I was a kid, I had a bike with the chrome fenders on it. You see it pitted with rust little spots. You take aluminum foil and maybe some WD-40 and rub it on that. It'll take the rust off, but not the chrome. So I don't know if that works. Parts of typewriters that are chrome, you can do that on. I'm not sure how it would work on other parts.
Yeah, yeah. I guess ultimately my thought is, if it's not affecting the typewriter working, I probably wouldn't worry about it too much.
Right.
I've been very fortunate. I think I've seen very little rust on my typewriters. And a lot of these, I've bought sight unseen other than pictures on Shop Goodwill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I do try and examine the pictures to make sure everything looks nice and shiny in there. And sometimes they're okay about taking a picture of the bottom and whatnot, but it can still be hard to tell. But yeah, so again, vinegar and evapo-rust would be probably the best bets. But again, it depends.
Probably not together.
No. Yeah, we don't know what will happen, but probably nothing good. Yeah, I guess I would start with vinegar. Would vinegar be less caustic than evaporust?
I would imagine so. Yes.
Yeah.
Not having used evaporust, I've never used it. So.
Yeah, but it's chemicals. So. Okay. So hopefully that helps, Lucy. All right. So
I can add on that.
Yes,
Greg.
Definitely.
One of my typewriters, an Adler Gabriel 25, was not rusty when I got it, but maybe it was the water on the rubbing alcohol I used. The segment got rusted when I closed it on the case. It stayed on the case for a while. When I tried to use it again, the segment was completely rusted. And I've had very poor luck in getting it back. I've tried vinegar, I've tried some cleaning products that remove rust, but I got only a few keys working back again.
That's horrible.
Yeah, fortunately, I saw it a parts machine on my local Craigslist equivalent.
Yeah.
And the lady ended up giving it to me. And this is one of the questions I had prepared for today, because I had to mix the two machines, the chassis from one, the body from the other, the platen, the carriage. It's all mixed up now. So if I may post my first question of the day is, how do I date such a machine? Which one is it? Is it the first one or the second one?
That's a good question.
It's kind of a philosophical question, but
yeah,
how would you date such a machine?
Entirely up to you. Choose a date and stick with it. Choose the one you like.
I think the part of the typewriter that has the
serial number
on it would be the part that you'd call the date of that typewriter.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's the frame of the chassis or something like that.
Yeah, I would say that's correct.
The chassis is from the newer one I got, which is actually older. It's 1968. The other one is 1973. But I ended up taking a lot of the newer machine, the 1973 parts, putting them in the 1968 and the platen. I changed I basically merged the two machines. So
right.
I'll probably end up saying it's based on the serial number, but I wanted to post the question anyway to see what you guys think about it.
That seems the most logical way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've got a Antares 145, which was an Italian machine, and I swapped all the keys and segment stuff out for an English keyboard, a QWERTY, from another Antares that I have. And I call it a 145 because it says 145 on it. It looks like 145. Oh, and the frames is 145s. That's what I call it.
Well, it's kind of the same thing that I did with. I had a letter of 32 with a busted case and a letter of 35 that I didn't particularly like the insides of, and swapped the shell for the frame. And so I still call that a 1964 letter of 32, even though it looks like a letter of 35.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
It's because that's what the serial number says.
Yep.
That brings up a good question. If you have an organ transplant, can you change your birthday depending on?
What's your serial number say?
Yeah. By the way, welcome to both Anthony and John.
Yep.
Oh, I guess
Anthony
Anthony
for a
left
bit.
again.
No,
Oh,
he'll come back.
yeah. All right. So the next question is from Jed Underwood.
Okay.
He asks, is it possible to use automobile paint on a typewriter?
It is always possible to do anything.
Absolutely.
I would think so, particularly if the typewriter has a metal body.
Mhm.
I mean, that kind of goes hand in hand,
Lots of people have done it, and
Yeah.
it usually turns out pretty well.
Yeah.
Excellent.
From what I've seen.
Yeah,
Now-
my orange alder tipper is painted in factory paint for a Volkswagen Carmendia, and it came out fine. No problem with it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That was a metal body or a plastic body?
It's a plastic body.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was good.
I did
Go ahead.
automotive primer on it, and then I did the factory paint and a clear coat on top. So I did it like a real car finish.
Ah, okay. Very good. Very good.
There's Anthony. We see him. We can't hear him.
Yeah.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, I'm typing as I watch you guys. So
Excellent.
my Olympia is super loud. So yeah,
Well,
good to see everybody. What?
yeah. Just to let you know, I think by default, Zoom will lower the volume of the background noise, but
Really?
you can also mute yourself as well. But yeah.
It's one of my favorite writing machines, but it's also, I think, one of my noisiest.
Oh,
And if I took this to a cafe, I think I would get, people around, torches around me. Get out, get out, get out.
yeah.
No, they love it. They love it.
Actually, you know what? I don't know when we discussed taking typewriters to coffee places before, and pre-pandemic, I got to tell you, I've done it as a group. I used to belong to a typing group in St. Louis called the St. Louis Typers Union. It was great.
Mhm.
And we go to coffee houses, and there'd be like 3 or 4 of us, 5 of us around a table with all of our typewriters, and people loved it. And I've also gone by myself. I've taken a typewriter and I've gone and sat in a coffee house, either inside or outside. And you know what? No, people love it. They come up and ask you, what is that? What year is that? And all that kind of stuff. And kids, like, they've never seen typewriters.
Oh yeah.
So it's, I've never had a bad experience. It's only my self-consciousness that stops me from doing it.
Exactly.
But other than that, it's, I think people, if you're respectful, I guess, they're fine. So anyways,
Very good.
Good morning,
Very
everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I'll put myself on mute.
and John, is that fireplace behind you nice and warm?
It is. It's nice and toasty here. Yeah.
How are you, Joe?
Good. How are you doing?
Very good. Very good.
Good.
He's got his Underwood.
Yes. Yes, indeed. It sits out in my patio room normally and covered, it's sort of a decoration, but I decided it's one of the better typing machines in my collection. So it needs to be used more,
Indeed.
And the ribbon is a little dry. I need to turn the little knob on the side and get some fresh ribbon going here. So how are you guys doing?
Oh,
Very good. Very good.
So I didn't get on the start of it. So what is our topic for today?
It's the asked and answered.
And he asked the question, we answered it. And now he's gone.
Oh,
We lost him.
I guess he got the answer he needed. There he
Yeah.
is. He's back.
Yeah, you guys just got to put up with the fact that anytime I go to touch my camera
Yeah.
for focusing or something, it'll probably glitch out on me. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
I think we're used to it now.
yeah. All right. Cool.
All right. So we just answered the question about automobile paint on a typewriter.
Mhm.
Oh
And
yeah.
do you have any thoughts on that, Joe?
Well, I guess I haven't personally repainted a typewriter at all. And like you could say, for instance, that this particular typewriter probably deserves to be repainted if you look at the ribbon spools, right? But on the other hand, I like the patina of the worn paint and a little bit of rust. I like that look. So I guess philosophically, I tend to gravitate toward the idea that I kind of like the machines the way they are. I like them to show the history of their wear. I guess to me, it's more of an affectation. If you try to make it look like it was a time machine, you've gone back in time 70 years or something. To me, that's just an affectation. It kind of covers up the history of the machine. And so but that's my own personal view. Maybe I would have a different opinion if I was really adept at auto painting or something, I mean, other than a rattle can paint job, if I actually had a painting booth, right, with a real spray gun and you could do like heat it up with heat lamps, some kind of a nice, really wonderful paint job with, Emron enamel paint or whatever, aircraft paint or something really cool. But I don't have that kind of skill or equipment. And so I kind of prefer just the look of the machine the way it is. I mean, my focus is more about getting the mechanics of it working, right? And then let it show its history. Like this machine here is made in 1930, and so it certainly is an old machine. But anyway, that's kind of the way I'm coming from. But that's
Very
just
good.
me. I'm not saying everybody else has to be that way. I just think for myself, I'm not as concerned about painting typewriters, but especially plastic typewriters, right? That's always a problem, right? Trying to get a new coat of paint to adhere to a plastic typewriter, because you have to use the right kind of primer for plastic, right? And even then, you may have a problem with it not adhering, right? Flaking off and all that over time. I certainly would like to hear of other people, though, who've had better experience with painting plastics. But
Actually, Brian Good, he left, unfortunately. He went to make
Yeah.
Christmas cookies with his mom, but
good.
he had just mentioned that he painted a plastic typewriter with automotive paint, and he had good luck with it. He used the primer first, so he did the proper.
He did the right step. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool.
he had good luck with it. Yeah.
Good.
I wonder if model paint would be any different than that.
It might be.
Yeah. Welcome, David.
Hey, sorry, I was having issues with my new webcam that sucks. So.
Oh, the one with the special effect.
Why do I look like a ghost?
I know. You look fine right now. So.
You look fine, thank you. Sorry. Hey, I wanted to share with you guys.
Yes.
Got it, and then my dogs are very excited.
Earlier, we had Bernardo's dog snoring. So.
All right, let me take care of that. I got something to show you guys, but you guys.
Okay. All right. So the next question comes from Todd Payne, and he asks, "What are some examples of your favorite two-tone typewriters?" He does say either custom painted or factory. But obviously we're not going to be able to show things here. Well, it'd be difficult to show some. Oh, you can. Excellent.
I can show things.
Okay, very good. There you go. Bernardo is right there. Oh yes, that's
no trouble at all.
Yeah. There you go. I should never doubt the typewriter community.
There we go.
Oh, let's see.
I can grab another one. while
Oh,
Ted
don't put me on
prepares.
big yet. I haven't found it.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought we were advertising the typewriter database.
And I'm also
shown this
typing on
before.
my
This is-
typewriter. I give up.
Oh,
I wasn't ready.
okay. Let me see if I could put Bernardo on. There we go. All right, you have the spotlight, sir.
Nakajima.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
My first one.
Mhm.
Nice.
It's a
Very
nice
good.
machine, very reliable. Typical Japanese action, a little heavy, a little
Mhm.
clunky sounding, but never had a problem with it.
That's all that matters.
Yep.
Very good.
Pretty.
That's a nice color combo there.
Yeah. And I've shown the Calibre before.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's gorgeous.
That's
gorgeous.
That's all the two tones I have. Well,
Okay.
I have yes. My
This is the only
partner's
one I have.
SM9. It's just two colors as well.
Oh, John's got something.
Oh,
Show John.
let's see.
There you go. Hey,
Brother.
brother.
Nice. Very nice.
I love that red. What is that? The tab button.
No, the tab button.
Yeah. Other than the ribbon, that's the only red thing on it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I love it. They're just like, yeah, that's a good design choice.
Yeah, a nice pop.
So I was going to
Very
show
good.
the pen that Gregory sent me, but I think I left it at work because I was actually using it. But I have the box. So Greg sent me a nice Cross Century 2 fountain pen, the Ferrari version, which my wife and I thought was really funny because I drive like an old person. I am like the slowest driver in the world. But the pen it writes beautifully. So thank you very
Excellent.
much, Gregory. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. It was just a small token, so
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
And I was actually thinking about Joe this week because I was watching a great documentary. I got it right here
Yeah.
called
Shades of Gray. Oh.
about Gray Barker. I don't know if he wrote the Saucerian zine back in
Yes.
the 50s about
Yes.
UFOs. And there's a typewriter story in there that's kind of interesting, which was what he would do was he knew other UFO enthusiasts and people who ran magazines. And he had gotten his hand on some official State Department letterhead and was typing up letters from supposedly deep insiders that with knowledge to these other people to the point where the FBI got involved and he had to hide the typewriter. He destroyed it and it's hidden behind a wall somewhere now.
Oh. So did he was he faking memorandum? Like
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, see that's interesting, right? Because the whole history of ufology is always rampant with suspicion,
Yeah. If you've ever seen the movie The Mothman Prophecies,
Yeah.
he was there when John Keel, who wrote the book, was there, and he wrote a book called The Silver Bridge, and he's the one that pranked John Keel with that voice.
Oh.
So he would go to these places and create stories so he could sell more of his magazine.
So the documentary you're referring to, was that a black and white documentary of Gray
No.
Barker? Okay.
Yeah,
Because I have an old VHS. I have a copy of an old VHS rental tape that I got from, there used to be a local rental house called Alphaville Video. It was like an art house videotape place here in Albuquerque. And there was this wonderful VHS tape that had an old black and white film, kind of 16 millimeter film kind of documentary on Gray Barker. And it was kind of eerie, kind of a spooky documentary in some ways, right? But anyways, that's interesting. Yeah.
They have all of his works are curated in West Virginia. He was the first to really bring up the Flatwood Monster.
Oh yeah.
And then the Mothman. They're both based in West Virginia, right?
Yeah.
So if you go to Clarksburg, the library, all of his original stuff is there. His correspondence. What's
interesting is the whole history of ufology is like one author will reference another author, and they use that as a source, and the other author references some other guy, and there's no real or very little original research. It's all self-referencing each other.
Yeah.
You know.
They were saying, like, the guy, just real quick, he invented the Men in Black. That was what Gray Barker invented, that idea. And the guy who played the part of it in his magazine of a Dr. Deep Insider said he remembers when he was at the theater watching Men in Black and being like, oh my God, how crazy is this? You know, because that was completely invented by Gray Barker to sell more Saucerian magazines.
Oh, that's funny. Well, getting back to the whole typewriter thing, I know that I think it was Martin Titel or somebody in New York who was the typewriter expert that the FBI used in a number of famous cases, right, of involving typewritten manuscripts and court cases and all that. I don't know if you remember some of those things, but
yeah, like forensics. That's why he had to get rid of it, because they would have been able to match, you know, his typewriter to these memos that they were not supposed to have the official letterhead, but to do that, he was able to create all kinds of wacky ideas, like formally, you know.
Right. Yeah, that's why any kind of UFO research that shows images of typewritten documents is always suspect in my mind. You know, like the whole classic MJ12 document and all that. You know, it's like anybody with a 1940s or 50s typewriter could probably reproduce that. You know,
I'm sorry, this is so interesting because I'm such a dork about the typography, and I mean, like Ted knows his fonts or his typefaces, and they can look at those documents and say, well, this is from this type of, you know, they can date it. The other thing with the MJ12 documents, which is interesting, is that there are a lot of mistakes that military personnel would not make, such as how they date and how they things. So but the formatting of the document.
The formatting gives it away. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, right? It really is. There was even something about I don't know if it was George H.W. Bush or George W. Bush, but one of the Bushes was involved in there was some document purporting to show, I think it was George W., purporting to show his National Guard service or something, and they had to prove it was. You remember that?
Absolutely. And they proved it was, they proved it was not of the time based on the typology or the typeface. On the document itself. That thanked Dan Rather.
It did. Interesting, right?
They tried to say it was, they tried to say it was typed on a composer. But,
they said what, Ted? What was that, Ted?
They tried to claim that it was written on a composer, but that is definitely not true. It had characters in it that just didn't exist on a composer type ball.
So if you're interested in owning a original copy of like some of the first Saucerians, which the first one was made on some type of, you guys would probably know better than I, a copier that only did purple.
Mimeograph. Spirit copier.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Spirit copier. Yeah.
You're looking at $300 to $500. I was like, oh my goodness. You know? But I mean, what a piece of history. So I did get the first edition of They Knew Too Much About Flying Saucers. So as soon as I get that, I'll show you guys. It's got the dust cover and everything.
I was kind of heavily into flying saucers when I was a kid, right around the time of the space program, right, in the 60s. And my brother and I actually faked a couple of UFO pictures. I think I put them on my blog several times, and they're on my Flickr stream somewhere, but it was basically a metal pie tin suspended from a thread from a stick, and it was nighttime, and we put it over a bush and used a little 110 camera with a flash, and it kind of looks like a saucer, but you know, it's interesting.
Yeah, it used to be a lot easier to fake those sorts of things, like the MJ12 documents. Somebody snuck into the Library of Congress archives and stuck it in there.
Yeah.
So that somebody would find it later.
There's if you're looking for a good nonfiction abduction book, Whitney Strieber wrote a book called Covenant. He maintains he was abducted and probed and all that sort of stuff. There's a pretty terrible movie, I think, but
he did.
The book is quite
Communion
good.
Was the name of the book.
Oh, Communion. That's it. Yeah. Well, and actually, John, while I got you, I wanted to thank you for this really wacky.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So thank you.
Buckminster Fuller. What a great, what a wonderful book.
Me and Bucky.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, sorry.
That's all right.
Little tangent there.
Yes.
Never apologize for tangents.
Oh no, that's what we're all about.
That's right.
In the comments, we do have Luddite and Dan Miller. Oh, and Emily Tillman.
Dan Rather.
Dan Rather.
So Dan Miller was talking about the painting of plastic typewriters, and he says that Krylon makes a paint for plastics, but he also suggests that they might have a limited color selection. And then we have Emily Tillman. She says, "Good morning. I would like to join via Zoom. How do I find the link?"
Yeah.
And let me post that real quick. It's launch.typepals.com. So
Yeah. I was having a problem finding it myself until I went to the Facebook group.
Yeah, that
okay.
new URL is so much easier.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So please join us, Emily. Launch.typepals.com. Yes. All right. So more questions. Let's see here.
What? No more UFOs?
Well, I could go onto a whole detour. I could go onto a whole detour, but let me just say this: that when I grew up in Northeast Albuquerque in the 1960s and 70s, a lot of the families that lived up here, the fathers worked at Sandia National Lab or Kirtland Air Force Base, and every kid in school knew there was an underground base called Monsanto Base where they kept all the nukes. But it was a top secret, right? But even though every kid knew about it, and my dad worked in that field also.
Awesome.
So it was always rumors and innuendo. But more recently, though, I haven't talked to anybody about this, told anybody about it. My grandson, who lives with us, and he's 22 years old or something like that. He a couple of years ago was working for a contractor. And he gained a lot of experience and skill, but they had a job to do out on the Air Force Base. And I can't really say any more right now, except that there is a hangar of airplanes that exist that shouldn't exist, and it's deeper in the ground than Carlsbad Caverns. It's like a 4-minute elevator ride to get down to it. There's an underground hangar.
And so
interesting.
when Air Force busts in on Joe,
And that's how we never heard from Joe Van Cleef.
That's right.
Ever again.
It could be fiction, but that's what. But my grandson is too naive to know anything about this. You know what I mean? Anyway.
I can speak from. I did 4 years in the Army. I had a UFO question that I asked a guy that worked at White Sands, and he just said,
"Yeah,
they exist. They're not what you guys think they are."
Yeah.
That was the answer I got. But
yeah.
There are things like what Joe is speaking about that do exist, and places that you would never think.
Yeah.
Wow, this whole thing is here. Nobody had any idea.
Right. Yeah. Right. Literal tip of the iceberg, kind of idea. But anyways, yeah. So a lot of these things are like based on truth. Yes. But they're exaggerated,
Yeah, yeah. The only thing I have to add about UFOs, and it'll be very brief, is I recently saw the South Park episode with the anal probe. So
it's also a documentary, Greg. Yes.
That's essential for anybody who wants to study the UFO culture is to get into South Park.
Getting the typewriters and stuff, though, it's cool how back in the day people would start up magazines and would correspond with each other, and you'd get this mysterious letter and not know who it was from, and screw it, we're going to put it in there, and it becomes part of the mythos that becomes, like a movie like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Without people communicating that way and coming together with, like we do over one interest, right. We wouldn't have those movies. We wouldn't have those anything like that. So it's pretty cool to see, the old school communication and correspondence between people create the modern mythos, which creates our culture. It's been pretty awesome. Yeah. Think about
the pile of mashed potatoes that looks like Devil's Tower.
Richard Dreyfuss freaking out is my favorite part. Yeah.
whatever this.
Mashed potatoes are people.
That's right.
Yes, they are.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So getting back to the favorite two-tone typewriters, I have to say personally that, the Royal Futuras, I love those. I have the sort of lighter gray on darker gray, and then more recently I got the light blue on gray, and I'm still on the hunt for the pink on gray. So
You mean the salmon on gray?
Oh, that does sound better, doesn't it? I'm not afraid to say pink.
It's actually salmon. It's not pink.
Okay.
Made from real salmons.
Made from real salmons.
I can't do it now. I'm vegetarian.
We have Bill online.
Hello.
Excellent. Yes. Hello. How are you?
Okay.
Yes,
Good.
we can.
Yes.
So
Welcome.
first off, I just want to make sure I thank Joe and Ted, because I have frequented your web content, be it view only or video, numerous times this year since getting into typewriters.
Good.
And,
Very good.
I also brought a question
Thank you.
today.
Very
which
good.
I think had answered for me on a Reddit typewriter subreddit the other day, but I picked up a facet typewriter, and it's got this little tab here that it holds the paper bail up off the paper. I don't know if you can see how this works or not.
Yeah.
But it was suggested to me that was so that you can make an adjustment to the paper, even it out once you loosen up the feed mechanism.
Mhm.
And I guess that could be it. I'm not really quite sure.
I'm not sure that it has a specific purpose. I know that Royals have those. Certain Royal typewriters have those, and certain, I think some Smith Coronas have that too. But it's where you just pull it forward and it pulls the bail slightly off the platen
Exactly.
and elevates it and keeps it there.
Yes.
It could be for like allowing cards to feed without having them smashed up against the platen.
Oh, okay.
It could just be like you can pull it up and then feed your paper in without having to hold the bail. I don't think that there's a specific purpose for it.
Okay.
But, it's just a neat little feature.
It's always a good idea to keep the bales up, though, so that you don't flatten them if you're not using them.
Mm-hmm.
I was noticing on this 1930 Underwood that if you flip the paper release lever, it automatically lifts up the bail.
Mm-hmm.
And if you
nice.
if you lift the bail, it also disengages it disengages the paper release part way also. So anyways, they're linked together. So
Handy.
Nifty.
Yep.
Well, asked and answered. So I'm satisfied customer.
All right.
Very good. Very good. And
Tell
again,
us about
welcome.
yourself.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm up in Portland, Oregon,
Okay.
and I just started typing this year, and ever since buying my first typewriter, I've been typing on almost a daily basis. It's something that's proved to be incredibly therapeutic for me.
Yes.
And mostly I write letters to folks, and the few items of correspondence that I've received in return have been priceless. Of course, that's been a really nice and unexpected thing. I just send off the letters for my own benefit, to be honest. And I figure it's cool to get something in the mail that isn't junk mail or catalog or what have you. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of how this whole thing got kicked off. And in my case, I'm kind of an oddity, I think, because I'm drawn towards the later model typewriters, the Olympia SM9 with its design. that whole era of design, both in typewriters and other products, really appeals to me. And so I had the good fortune to be able to try out a number of typewriters before making my first purchase. And so through that experience, I came to find out that I especially like the way the Olympias typed. And so that's how I came to end up purchasing the Facet typewriter, because I'd read comparisons made to the Olympias. And so there's just something about that feel that appeals to me. And,
how do you like the carriage on the Facet? I found them to be almost the smoothest carriage that I've ever found on a typewriter.
It's pretty remarkable. Yeah. It's not only does it look, quite novel, but function wise, it's fantastic. It does a great job.
Yeah. In case other people don't know, the Facet's carriage bearings, it's in a tubular race instead of a flat. Yeah. That tube right there that he's pointing to is the bearing race. So very cool.
Yeah, it does a great job.
Yeah. So does that have the two different tabulator systems? I know when I had the Facet, one tabulator, you could set them to any position. And then there was a whole nother tabulator system that was set to every 10 spaces. And each of them were independent. So there's like two different tab clear levers, and it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. This has the same deal, one on each side.
Yeah.
I use like two tabs.
Yeah.
I have like one that I indent 5 spaces I use often, and then I have a tab set up for addressing envelopes, and that's like it for me. So
I just thought it was funny.
It's a bit of overkill.
Yeah, some engineer figured we're going to make more tabs than anybody else.
Yeah.
That's going to be what defines our product or differentiates it.
Yeah, pretty great.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's me.
Very cool.
I don't have the space that I'll ever become, a huge collector. But I think I have about 8 different machines in mind that I think would be really cool to own in all. And anything that I buy is, specifically for the purpose of typing with. I don't have anything out on display or anything like that. So the cases will all need to be stored somewhere where they're accessible and I can get to them. And so I wouldn't be like a long-term member of interest here, because I won't have that much new to show, but I really just, love the act of typing out letters. And I'm working on a book actually, and I don't have the typewriter for typing the book with, but when it comes to like jotting down thoughts, I love doing that on the typewriter and putting together, just sheets full of little notes and thoughts that come to mind that I can use later in the construction of the book. So that's fun too.
That's cool.
So what is your wish list?
Yeah, there you go.
So for me, I kind of seem to be gravitating towards the European machines. I have a Olivetti Latera 32 that's on its way to me as I speak. And I wouldn't mind owning the Studio 44 as well. The original Olympia SM9 that had the blue script
teal, the
logo.
teal logo.
I'd like to have one of those, just because, like I said, I gravitated so strongly towards the SM9. I think it'd be nice to have one of the first ones.
They're very nice. I had one. I found it at a thrift store for $5 many years ago, and unfortunately, I got rid of it. But
why?
Because I didn't know what I had at the time.
Oh,
that was
wow.
It was just like, I don't like this machine, so I'm gonna.
I made a few of those mistakes.
Well, it's interesting because this is one of the few analog experiences that I'm late to the game to, in a sense. I have turntables and I've been listening to albums for more than 4 decades. Same with film cameras, you know, those kind of things. I've just, I enjoy the experience, you know, of being a little bit more involved. You know, there are certainly more modern, efficient counterparts to those items, but I just like them for the experience. And so the same kind of goes with the typewriters, right? Although in this case, just getting into the joining the fray here in 2020, I read all these stories of people finding typewriters, you know, for $5 for free, and it's like, that's not happening here in Portland, you know, especially in Portland, you know, there's a lot of young people that are really jumping on board with all kinds of different analog experiences. And so, you know, in the one sense, I'm like, why? But I think it's great that young people are trying out so many, you know, different things here. So it makes the bargains far and few between. But the way I look at it, for what I'm getting, you know, at the prices that I pay still today, I still see a typewriter easily worth the cost that I have to pay. So
I mean,
it's a great thing.
A typewriter is really worth $300 at least. I mean, if you're going to build one today, it would cost, you know, even a cheap one would be $300. If it was, you know, any quality at all. But it's, you know, these machines, they were built for the equivalent of, you know, what in today's dollars would be $300 or $400, and they sold them for the equivalent of, you know, $900 or $1,000. And you know, so we may have inflation today, but we are paying the right price for these machines. One way or the other.
Well, and if you just look at, you know, how old these are, and the fact that, you know, certainly in my case, these are going to outlast me. There's not that many things that we can say that about anymore, you know. So quality materials are just spectacular.
So Bill, have you visited, I think it's Ace Typewriter? Is that the typewriter? Yeah. Over in Portland there.
Yes. Matt
Marash.
Matt McCormick.
That's right. Matt McCormick. Yeah.
He's a great guy. And that shop is it's amazing. You know, it's like you walk through the door and you feel like you've stepped back in time. It's really cool. You know, the place was started by his parents back in 1961. I think he's been working there since he was like 8 or something. He started helping, you know, his dad out. And so to be able to, you know, go to that shop and hang out there and talk with Matt is really a treat. And
that's cool.
I go there to get, you know, I've gone there to get ribbons for my machines. And I've even got my, let's see here.
Oh yeah, your typing pad. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan. It's a great place. And we have, there's another spot here in town, even I think Pacific Typewriter as well. So we're pretty fortunate here in Portland. And there might even be a third place. I don't know if they're still open. Once I discovered Ace Typewriter and met Matt, I kind of became my go-to place.
Yeah, we visited there back in 2015 when we made this big car trip around the Western U.S. We came through Portland and just down the street from Ace was this like food truck thing. Did you ever go to that? It's like a big lot with a bunch of food trucks, and you can have lunch there. You know,
that might be gone now.
It might be gone now. Yeah.
But there's so many food trucks around. This town.
They even had like a microbrewery food truck set up where they had a little patio and tables and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Well, if you a little bit, maybe about a half a mile down the street there from Ace, there's a place called Blue Moon Camera and Machine. And they were one of the places that had me thinking about typewriters early on, because they sell only film cameras and typewriters essentially.
Right.
and of course, all of their machines I learned later on are serviced or prepared by Matt.
By Matt,
Hayes.
yeah. I figured they were, yeah.
And the other experience that I'll note real quickly was my wife and I love to go visit Victoria, BC. And there was a shop there. It was like a little stationary kind of shop. They made all of their own types of stationery and things for people to buy, but they also had these typing booths set up where you could rent typewriters like by the hour. And I thought that was
That's
such
cool.
an interesting thing, you know.
Yes, yeah.
And that was a couple of years back now, and that also made an impression on me. So that links into how I ended up down this path as well.
That's cool. Very cool. Well, I think any time you have like what you might call hipster culture, right? You're going to probably see expensive typewriters, and typewriter shops will be maybe a little more better chance of being survivable.
I know. I was just at ACE this past week, and Matt said that it's the busiest holiday season that he's ever had.
Oh, wow.
And he said it was, crazy. It's been crazy busy for him. So that's pretty cool to hear. I'm really happy for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, people are stuck at home and they need something to do.
Yeah. And I
think Financial Times was saying that the return on investment for yearly for a typewriter is 30% right now, which is huge. So keep that in mind.
So is that referring to like the resale value, if you will? Yeah.
1 year, 30%.
1 year, huh? Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I can
especially, they said what was really popular right now are anything that says Corona on it because of the coronavirus. I'm serious. This was in the article. I was like, oh, I guess that's a reason to buy one, but wouldn't be mine.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're all right. I mean,
I prefer the Smith coronavirus.
Yes.
I prefer the Ebola Quiet Rider.
Oh, the Ebola Quiet Rider. Oh, that's right.
The sleeper. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Hey, I got some of that paper, Greg.
Yes.
The whatever it was that starts with a V.
Vellum.
Vellum.
This is awesome. This is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I never knew it existed until Greg brought it up.
Excellent.
Yeah, so thank you for that.
Speaking of that, I just let me make myself big here real quick, or give myself the spotlight, shall we say. So for years, let's see, someone needs in. There we go. It's Dan. Yeah, so for years I have been using a website called paperandmore.com. And the nice thing about them is you can order sample packs. They have these sample packs set up. So I got 4 of these sample packs. Some of it is regular text stock, and then some of it is cover stock or card stock. So you're probably not going to be able to use all the paper that you get in the sample packs, but you get to see the different textures and that sort of thing, and it gives you a chance to find paper that you like and that speaks to you and makes you want to write letters to people. So I went through all these and picked out my favorites, and then I placed an order and got actual packs of the paper. So some I just got. You can actually get as few as one sheet of some of them. But some of them I got in packs of 10, and then some I think in packs of 25. I ordered quite a few different ones, so so I'm excited to be. I'm gonna be writing letters on very, very nice paper.
I hope, Gregory, you do a blog article and review some of these papers and let us know which ones you recommend.
That's a fantastic idea, Joe, and I will fulfill that. Yeah. So yeah.
Can I ask? How were those papers packaged for shipment to you? Were everything arrived intact? I take it.
Yes, yes. So they actually pack them extremely well. They come in a priority mail box.
Okay.
So it's not an envelope or anything. It comes in a box, and a lot of these are pretty, fairly inexpensive. You might consider them expensive compared to like copy paper. We're talking, most of them are going to be around the 14 cents per sheet mark when you buy in quantity. And then some are as high as like, I think they have, I forget what kind it was, but they're like in quantity, they're like 50 cents a sheet. And I was like, I'll pass on those.
Oh.
So, but those are like super, super nice papers.
Yeah.
But yeah, they pack them very well. And with the samples, when you order the samples, the prices include the shipping. So it's a good, inexpensive way to try a bunch of different papers. And oh my goodness.
Yeah. Cat's underneath my chair.
Oh
The
no.
old roll on the cat tail.
that did not sound good.
No.
Oh man.
And I
I
rolled nice
remember
and
that.
slow.
Time for some cat therapy. Cat therapy.
Know that she likes to park back there, so I rolled really
Ah.
slow.
Ooh.
So that
And
she
you
could
still
get
got
away,
her.
and she still didn't go.
Oh yeah, but I highly recommend paperandmore.com. It's a
Okay.
wonderful, wonderful company. And that's actually where I got the vellums from. So that's
Oh.
the segue.
Have you ever tried Mylar film? Because, vellum was a drafting product, right? And Mylar film has a toothy side that'll take ink and pencil. I wonder if it would take ink. Probably not well, I would suspect, because it's not really absorbent like paper is.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't tried that.
It would probably take carbon film, like from a daisy wheel or a Selectric. But
Yeah.
anyways.
Oh, I was going to comment with this.
Oh.
We were talking about the prices of typewriters, and that they're actually fair prices, even though they seem high. Now, I wanted to mention, so the FreeWrite, which is essentially a glorified version of this, it's basically just a word processor, and the older version goes for $500.
Yeah.
And the newer version goes for $600. So
Yeah.
if you consider typewriters, they really are fairly priced, even at $300.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But I love this because these you can get for under $50.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
They are pretty handy.
Yes. I was writing poetry on it last night, actually. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you gonna read something to us?
Yeah. Come on.
No, well, just more questions. The poem I was working on is very very rough. Plus, it's about my wife. So,
Oh.
well, I mean, I'm working on a book of poetry about my wife, but so I guess it's not going to be that private. But right now, it just seems private.
Yeah, that's fine.
if that makes sense.
Sure.
All right, so we do have plenty more questions, actually. So Paulo Machado is asking about the Smith Corona Electric 120, asking if they're reliable and if they're easy to maintain.
Yes. I think they are.
Let's go with Dan's answer.
I've always thought they were a breeze to work on. I love them. I've got like 4 of them myself.
Very good.
Earlier in the year when I injured my finger, I had to pretty much use that machine specifically because I just couldn't use the manual. It was too painful to do. And that's at least been my experience. Easy. They never die. They just never die. The only thing I worry about is so far the belts have been okay, but I've heard other than O-rings work, but I wish somebody would make a replacement belt for those.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Electra 120 I have is actually the noisiest electric I have, but I mean, it's not, it's not like it's going to drive you crazy.
Right.
It makes, of course, the whirring sound that they're all going to make, but then it does do the whum, 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 because the belt is not, it's probably
Got a
sitting in
flat
the same
spot,
position
yeah.
for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it works fine. So
Gregory, you should probably get some O-rings. Go to the hardware store and replace them with round cross-section O-rings. It might quieten it up a little bit.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably one of the ones I'm gonna end up getting rid of next.
Yeah.
Just because I have other Type Bar electrics
that
work beautifully. Well, like the one I was showing. What was it last week? Was it the Apollo? I think the Apollo.
Yeah.
And that thing is so quiet.
Oh yeah.
So I highly recommend the Royal Apollo 10. I guess they also have a 12, which I assume is referring to the
carriage length.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Do we know what the GT means? Because some of them say GT.
Trying to market with the race car theme. That's pretty much it.
Does it have a racing stripe? Does it have a racing stripe going over the ribbon cover or something?
For the Royal Apollos? I don't think I've seen one like with a racing stripe.
No.
Well, we should paint a racing stripe. Dang it!
And I think it comes with a pit crew, doesn't it?
Oh, a pit crew. Yeah, you need a pit crew.
Yeah.
And it leaves a
hanging
pool.
around.
Yeah, it leaves a pool of oil
pit crew.
underneath the typewriter.
Jack it up.
Yeah.
Change the oil. Go, Gregory.
You want some loud mufflers on it. Give it a real rumble.
There you go.
That's right.
Oh. All right, so I think we're in agreement that they're reliable and easy to maintain. Yeah. Just maybe perhaps replace the belt. Would one need to oil the motor at all?
So they're usually using shaded pole motors, which are the kind of motors that you find in electric fans. They're just a little bit thicker, so they have more torque. But basically, they have their own little fan blade running on the back of the shaft of the motor to cool it, and it'll draw dust in over a period of years. So you probably want to blow it out with a compressor, blow the dust out. And then they have bushings on both sides of the rotor, and the bushing is oil filled. So you want to put some little machine oil in there and just to re-lubricate the bushing. That's probably about it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, so now we have Edwin Rivera Viruet. He says, I'm trying to buy a Royal Eldorado, but noticed that the backplate Eldorado sticker is missing. Did some of these models come without a sticker, or did it peel off? And does anyone know where I can get a sticker reproduction?
Dunno.
Now, I've actually seen several typewriters on Shop Goodwill that, you recognize the typewriter looking at it, but it doesn't have the decal specifying the model. So is it common for it to come off?
Usually I've seen on those little Royals, those Hallberg style Royals, it usually has a Royal sticker on the back.
Yeah.
I don't know that it ever has the model name sticker anywhere except on the paper table, usually.
Okay.
And so far as getting a replacement, there's a guy that does water transfer decals. He sells them on Etsy, but that's normally for older typewriters, like from the pre-war typewriters. I don't think he does reproductions of modern typewriters.
Okay,
decals,
yeah.
So.
There's probably not much money in that.
Well, there might be, but it's just not what he does. So
not his specialty. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, we have a good answer there. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now this one is pretty interesting. So Maxim, and I'm going to slaughter his last name, Maxim Survegan, asks, how many typewriters have you bought in 2020? And yes, bought.
Ooh.
All of them.
In January,
all
I
of my-
bought 2 in one shot. Couple
Wow.
Coronas. Coronas, of course.
Yeah. Thanks, Ted. Thanks, Ted.
But that was from a fellow typospherean who lives down the street, and he was trying to thin down his herd a bit, and I thought, ooh, I'd like a flat top Corona, and another Corona 4, or what was it, Corona 4? No, it was a flat top standard and a Model S Corona, which is based on the Corona 4, but it has a flat top lid on it. So I bought those, and I've been. The one was almost in pieces. He had tried to pull the segment bar out and was trying to pull the type bars out to clean them, and so I was like, "Oh, I don't think you need to go that far." So I managed to get that back together and just clean it with lighter fluid, and it was seized up solid when I got it, and just a pretty good cleaning. You had to get in there and soak those type bars with lighter fluid, but it loosened it all up, and now it's typing pretty good. So those are my 2.
Okay.
And they were in January, so
Yeah.
nothing since then. Oh,
Okay.
wait, I lied. I got an EP22.
Ah.
My brother EP22
Those
It's all
count. Those
coming out
count.
now.
at a thrift store. So
Yeah.
3.
Nice.
I only bought 2 for myself. I think let's see, Olivetti Studio 45 and the recent Type Bar Electric Olympia Reporter. But I think I got a couple
The
others.
Hermes,
Well, so those, I guess the Hermes, that would be, that's right, 3. And then a couple others were gifts. So, I didn't intend on getting them, but they were given to me. So I guess maybe 4 or 5, perhaps.
Okay. I honestly, I think I'm in the. It was a good year for me. I think I'm probably in the 10 to 15 range. Yeah, it's been a good year. But I was shocked because 31 people. It was like a poll on the group, and 31 people have bought over 30 typewriters this year. I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy.
They're in the grip.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have a member, Emily, down here. Hi, Emily.
Yes.
And,
Hi.
hi.
Hello.
Hi, Emily.
And so how
I
about
figured
you?
out how to get in.
Yay!
I figured it out.
So how many typewriters do you have, Emily? It looks like you have at least one rocket, or baby. It looks like a rocket.
Yes, this is one that I got over the summer. I picked it up at an estate sale, and I'm just really excited about it because this is probably my favorite typewriter.
Right.
It just has all the features that I like. So it needs a new ribbon, and all I have right now are bichrome ribbons, and this one doesn't have a ribbon color selector, so it's kind of pointless to put a bicolor ribbon in it, although I may just do that because I need
just to have a new ribbon.
Yeah. So
As long as it doesn't print in the middle and give you half black, half red
Right.
letters, then you're fine. So
yeah. Well, it could do that too, and I would be fine with that.
As long as it types.
Yeah. So
So
how many
many
do I have total? I have over 30.
okay. And did you buy them all this year?
No. No. I'm trying to think. It's been like the last 3 years, maybe 3 or 4 years that I've kind of been collecting, maybe only 2. I don't know. It's been like a blur. It's but I think I've only acquired maybe like 3 this year.
Okay.
I had to slow way down. Not anything to do with the pandemic. It was honestly just the collection just ramped up real fast, and I ran out of room for them all.
Are you in the western half of the U.S.?
I am. I'm in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
I am. Yeah.
All right.
That's quite
So is that good typewriter hunting area? Do you see a lot of typewriters in antique stores and thrift stores and estate sales?
Sometimes I like to go out to estate sales. That's kind of the thing that I like to do. And we have a pretty decent antique mall where it's like a collective. There's lots of different booths, over 100 different vendors. And I would say I find one when I go out almost every time, but I don't always buy it because I'm not at the level where I can tinker with a machine and fix it if it's broken. And
You're selective. You test them out, make sure they're working good before you buy them, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, good. That's kind of the way I am, right?
Cool. Very good. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, so we have another question. All right, well, does anyone else want to confess how many they've bought this year before I move on?
Yeah, I bought one.
Okay.
This one.
Tuto.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I bought all of mine this year, of course, since I just got started.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I have in my collection maybe 6 machines, and I bought 4 to be Christmas gifts this year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Christmas gifts to yourself or to other people?
That's gonna happen.
He does not answer.
No, it's for family members. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah,
I gifted one to my brother on his birthday, and he's been enjoying it. He's been writing haikus.
Ooh.
And yeah, so since that worked, I thought I would spread the joy further.
There you go. Pretty soon you're gonna have a type-in.
Family type-in.
Maybe next Christmas.
There you go.
Family will be.
Very good. Excellent. Anyone else?
Yeah, I bought 3 and was given 1, so 4 in total.
Okay.
It's all been recent. Yeah.
Okay.
And I gave away another one to a niece, her daughter. So. Very
good. Very good. I was on the verge of gifting one of my typewriters to. It was kind of funny. I became friends with my my boss of like 20 years ago on Facebook, and she just recently asked to the general public, does anybody know of a typewriter that I can get for my grandson? And so, of course, I jumped on it. And I was working with her on she was asking all these questions, of course, and I was answering them. And I had one of my typewriters in mind. It was the Olivetti Lettera 25, because it works flawlessly. It's kind of a lighter typewriter at a little over 10 pounds. And it has a bag that has a shoulder strap. So I figured, it would be good for this 9-year-old kid to be able to carry around, and it would work well for him. But then in our discussion, it was becoming clear that the parents, because she's the grandparent, so it was becoming clear that the parents are not on board with him getting a typewriter. So I'm like,
Really?
So I'm like, I don't want to gift this perfectly good typewriter if they're just gonna like throw it out or something. But I
anyway.
I know.
Trust in God.
Well, it actually kind of worked out because locally there was one of the gray electric or electronic Smith Coronas that she got for $15. So I put together some little demo videos of how to use it and everything. So it's going to work out. But yeah, it made me really nervous that the parents were so against this kid having a typewriter. Apparently, they have no patience whatsoever. And
That's surprising. Yeah.
And I know, and and it also sounds like they're very like germaphobes and OCD. Okay. So they were like demanding that the typewriter is like very clean and works perfectly. And but I'm forgetting to mention the heartbreaker. So they have a typewriter in their house, but they won't let him use it. That just broke my heart.
So it sounds like the kid needs a typewriter just for therapy reasons alone. Yeah. He's going to grow, grow up being a troubled person.
Yeah. It sounds like the kid needs new parents.
That's what
Yeah.
He's going to be the guy that ends up having like 500 typewriters later on.
Yeah, he will. He'll be like Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you guys seen the documentary, The Social Dilemma?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
On Netflix?
Yeah.
I watched that last night, and it terrified me. And anything. I don't have children, but if I did, I would try to make them, try to engage in other ways. Like
you would become Amish.
Become Amish, of course. But just after watching that documentary on how those algorithms work is pretty terrifying. How much we rely on social media and are moving away from the physical. So you have to have a balance.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you do. Did you know Al Gore invented the algorithm?
Yes.
Oh Lord.
I always wondered that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It should have been obvious.
It was obvious.
Oh, very good. All right. So we have another question here. This one comes from Felix Im. Thoughts on Hermes 3000 models made in France? First of all, I didn't know that.
Rude.
They do not like the Americans unless the Germans are coming. No.
Yeah. There you go. Well, I didn't know that some were made in France.
Yeah, so the 1970s boxy plastic version is made in France. And I've had two of those, and now I have the early 60s metal one made in Switzerland. And my 70s one is slightly quieter than the Swiss made one. It may just be my own individual samples. And the mechanics are essentially the same. And I don't notice any difference in quality or performance other than that. So I think they're very much equivalent. I think the plastic end covers to the 1970s, the end covers on the carriage, they tend to crack real easy. Other than that, they're very durable and reliable. And it's really a matter of aesthetics as far as the shape of it. But you probably can find a 1970s version a little cheaper than the early 60s one. And it's going to be newer, right? It'll be newer, maybe 10 years newer. So, right? Maybe the plat might be slightly better.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, thank you for that.
Yep.
All right. So let's see. Robert Thomas is comparing a Remington Five with a Remington Jr. And asking, does anyone feel there's an advantage to one model over the other? So I don't know if anyone has experience with the Remington Five or the Remington Jr.
Was expecting Ted to answer. It looks like he's off the air right now.
Maybe we'll come back to that one.
Yeah.
All right. Now, and this might be another one for Ted, but so Mary Beth Klatt asks, when was the typewriter with the AM/FM radio and light made, and was it an electric typewriter?
I had one. That's the what is that?
It's a Royal. It's made by Silver Seiko, I believe, in Japan.
Is it Fleetwood or
wood grain?
Yeah, it's my friend Kevin has one. His is a kind of a gunmetal blue plastic, kind of dull blue plastic color or something like that, and the radio is built into the cover of the snap-on lid So it's kind of a 1970s silver Seiko, similar to the Royal Mercury maybe in terms of mechanics. Okay. Yeah. So a good, reliable machine. Maybe a little loud, right? Those silver Seikos were never the quietest. I mean, even the brothers, right? They're not super quiet, but they're very reliable, I find.
But
So,
I think it was 70s.
Yeah, 70s.
Okay. But the typewriter part would be manual, and then
it would be a manual typewriter. Yeah, with a radio. And I think the radio was battery powered. Yeah, it was battery powered. Yeah.
Okay.
Mine was
very good.
The radio. It just had the typewriter with it.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Let's see. Lucas Barletta is asking essentially where to get spare parts. There's someone selling an SG1, and he wants to replace the return lever, the eraser table, and the ribbon cover.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with typewriters, Lucas, is unlike classic automobiles. So classic automobiles, there's an aftermarket where you can literally build a Model T Ford from a catalog. Even the chassis and the engine, you can buy all the body parts and everything. But typewriters, there wasn't really an aftermarket except for like Ames. The Ames company was kind of like an aftermarket dealer in typewriter parts, but they've been out of business for, a couple decades. So the only source of spare parts is a loaner or a donor machine, an identical or similar machine that's broken, and it has the good parts on it that you need. That's really the only source. With the exception of things like there's a few typewriter parts like rubber feet that are being made by, there's a guy in the US and there's the typewriter guy over in England, right, who sells some rubber feet. And that's real. And some people are like 3D printing the carriage knobs, but they're not going to be really the same quality as injection molded plastics. They're going to be, filament printed. But other than that, there really isn't much of an aftermarket for typewriter parts yet.
Yeah. Well, I guess you have people like John the Shy Typospherean that he's involved in I think a network of people making 3D printed parts for typewriters. So you're probably going to get more and more of that, but
right.
Of course the material is going to limit the parts that you can replace with that. So.
Right.
Yeah, I'd reach out to a typewriter repairman in the area, and they usually have a lot of stuff just lying around. That's probably going to be your best bet.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of typewriter repair or typewriter repair people, I checked Richard Polt's list of typewriter repair shops, and I was a little shocked and excited to discover that there's one in a neighboring city to me, Colton, California. So I very excitedly jumped on their website and sent them an email. Well, they said that they work on electronic typewriters, and they declared that it's impossible to fix manual typewriters because there's no parts for them, which obviously we know is untrue.
Yeah.
But I was so disappointed. But they said, if you have any electronic typewriters, well, I do have, a few. I don't know if they would work on thermal typewriters, but they're called inland business machines. So, obviously what they're doing now mostly is fixing, photocopiers and that sort of thing, fax machines maybe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was very disappointing. But I think there is one in LA, but of course, that's like 50 miles away. So
you're just gonna have to drive down to Phoenix.
I know. Huh? Well, I know. My brother lives in Bullhead City, Arizona, which is nowhere near Phoenix, but that could be a road trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question. I know Gregory and Joe, you both have type starters. Now the type starter that I have, the paper, we'll call it the platen rollers. they don't seem to hold the sheet quite as firmly as your standard manual typewriter. Because especially I was rolling through these little thermal labels, like on just on a narrow strip, and it's kind of like little weak in pulling it through. Have you guys tinkered with those at all, or do you find adequate strength in your devices?
Well, I can't remember which model it is, but one of mine, the paper release lever, the right-hand roller mechanism is broken, and it's a plastic piece that provides spring tension onto the paper. So that particular machine, only the left side puts real tension on it, but they're generally fairly weak. I have taken them apart to a degree and put rubber resurfacing, rejuvenation stuff on the platen and on the rollers. Helps a little bit, but they don't really have the spring tension of a manual machine. I don't think they were ever intended to. But I have used thermal labels on some of mine with success, but maybe it depends on how good those pressure rollers are working. If you pull on the label, it'll just slip between the platen real easy.
Well, the label is a little narrow. It's like maybe 3 inches wide, so it's only going to catch one roller anyway.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have like an 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of small labels, maybe feed the whole sheet in and it might grip it better or something, or tape the label backing paper to a larger letter size sheet of paper.
Yeah.
And then try that. It might work better.
Yeah. I'll tinker with it a little bit.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed. I was hoping to have it a little more efficient because my wife, she makes some Filipino food products at home. And I wanted to make labels for them, but and using the memory, buffer, you just let it print by itself, kind of thing. But it's a little time consuming. It's you're almost better off just using a computer program and labels, just print it off.
It's kind of fun to use a typewriter, but I think you can experiment with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just suggest just trying different locations, like maybe one area doesn't grip as well as another area. Also, is it just individual little sheets you're feeding, or is it from a roll?
Roll.
Okay. My next thought is maybe there's too much pull from the roll itself. And
well, I bring enough there so that there's nothing holding it back.
Okay.
I would say make sure you center it in the platen. If it's using two different pressure rollers, center it on the platen so that both sides of the strip of paper are being gripped.
Yeah.
But even so, or if you could kind of look in there and figure out, I don't remember where the pressure rollers are, but maybe center the paper on one pressure roller itself completely, and you'll have more grip.
Yeah, I was just doing it all over on one side. So I'll have to look at it. And I'll take it out one day and play with it.
Yeah.
Also on that roll is the backing paper that would be touching the platen. Is it waxy? Because often the backing is waxy. That could be part of the problem right there.
Yeah.
Just the weight of the paper and the fact that it's kind of waxy. So I actually haven't. I have the labels and I haven't run them through my machine yet.
I would suggest cutting off about an 11-inch long strip of the label stuff, taping it to a normal sheet of paper, and then feed that in, and then you'll be able to do a number of them at a time, and it should work better that way.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
I'll come up with
kitty
something.
time. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Let us know if you do resolve that. I'd be interested to know.
So this gets to the subject that I want to mention briefly. Is a friend of mine has a point of sale thermal printer. It's actually a thermal printer for shipping labels. What are they, like 4 by 6 inch labels come in a big roll?
Yes.
And so it's a thermal printer, and it connects, I think, with a USB connector or something to a computer. And I was thinking that would be a device that you could turn into a small thermal typewriter. If you had a small laptop computer that you could do one page at a time of text and print it out on this thermal paper, you'd have a thermal typewriter. Anyways.
Yeah. As long as you have the driver for that particular printer, you can put whatever you want on it. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Anyways.
Hey, Dan, I sent you a link. There's a Olivetti Studio 42 for sale in Janesville that may be worth, it's in great condition. They want 150 for it, but I bet you could probably get it for 100 if you're.
Looks like you're muted.
You're muted, Dan.
Sorry about that. I was typing, guys. Janesville is a little less than an hour west of me, so that's definitely worth driving. And I work about a half an hour west of me, so that'd be only a half an hour from where I work.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
you sent me a link, you said?
Yes, in the private chat. I'm from Rockford originally, so I know where you're at.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that.
So he's enabling you, Dan. He's
I
enabling
am.
you.
It's in good. I wouldn't normally, but it's in really good shape.
The last thing my family wants to hear is me getting another typewriter. I was only able to buy one this year, and that was the and Joe, I don't know if you still have it, but the Webster XL 747. I picked them really cheap.
Good. How do you
what
like
a nice
it?
little machine.
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
No,
But no,
I like the
appreciate-
repeat spacer. The repeat
Yes,
spacer. That's
well, my kids think it's like a machine gun. They
yeah.
they want to hear it act like a machine gun. So,
That's good.
Hey, I have
All right.
Another question, real quick.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Have any of you that have blogs assembled a list of like a toolkit? Anything that's recommended outside of the normal hand tools that a person might have that one might go in search of over time? I've done a little research on it, and I've seen like old typewriter toolman repair kits, toolboxes shown with all these specialty tools in them, and I know that not all of those things are needed, but if there might be a few recommended pieces that would be worth at least looking for.
Isn't there some YouTube guy that did a whole video on
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, Joe just did one about last month, I think.
Yeah, I did one more addressing the Chapman.
Somebody.
Chapman makes a little, Chapman makes a driver bit set that looks like that's actually aimed toward the typewriter market. But generically, I think gunsmithing screwdrivers. And what you want is the flat bladed tips. You want them not to be tapered. Like a normal cheap screwdriver, the cross section of it is tapered in.
Yes.
So when it goes into the slot of the screw, you're not really fully using the actual full depth of the slot. And you end up putting a lot of force on the top edges of the slot of the screw, which causes that slot to get boogered up. Boogered up is a technical term, of course. And if you want... Yes, exactly. And then what you want is a taper, so it tapers out, and so it fills up that slot better. And so generally, hey, look at that. She has the very same candelabra that I'm using. Yes, Hobby
This is
Lobby,
the
right?
world famous Joe Van Cleve candelabra.
That's right. That's right. And on the flat top Corona. Yes.
Copied you, Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is fun. Yeah. So, anyways, gunsmithing screwdrivers, and also
Hobby Lobby thing.
Yeah, right. And
those hobby tools.
Yeah, hobby tools. And then there's also a screw starter. These are harder to get. You can find the spring-loaded screw starters that have the little twist tip, and you can put a screw in it, but they usually work better with fatter slots. But there used to be a screwdriver that was split. The whole shaft of the screwdriver is kind of split and spring-loaded, and those work better for typewriter screws, and you can put one of those screws on there and get it started in there. That's always a problem, right? is accessing screws. So those kind of things are really essential, I think, is just good quality slotted screwdrivers.
Okay.
And,
Screwdrivers and tiny candelabras.
Yeah, tiny candelabras. And also I'll mention is little, what you call ignition wrenches, right? Tiny little, both metric and American standard, little open-end wrenches. But you want them to be narrow. You want the wrenches to be narrow, so some of those have to be accessed real tight spaces. So,
there are two additional tools that you need. One of them is a spring hook.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
You're gonna want to find a spring hook, and you're gonna want to find a T-bender, which is a T-handled, kind of a screwdriver looking thing, but it has like a slot cut in it, so that you can put it up against like a linkage and kind of twist, and it forms that linkage. Those are the two tools other than like standard, just your average tools that you want to get a hold of. Those are they're pretty easy to get hold of too.
Ted, I'll add that in Italy, this is 5 tools. That's Roman numerals for 5. Yeah, 5 tools. Yeah.
I also recommend these.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Dental picks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Air compressor, always.
Air compressor,
lighter fluid.
And then page
sells a cheap one. Yeah.
Page 315 of your Bible.
Yes, that's right. Please open your Bibles to page 315.
Please open your Bible.
Brushes.
And there's a candelabra section too.
Yes.
Yes.
I love that.
There's a whole section in here. This horrifies me, but
yes,
there's a whole section in here.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, what I did with my candelabra is I glued a little flat magnet to the bottom so it'll stick to the typewriter better.
Oh, that's clever, Joe. I like that.
But then you have to put a piece of clear tape on the bottom of the magnet so it doesn't scratch the paint on the typewriter. So it gets more complicated anyways.
Well, what if you were to, what you could do is you could actually put a magnet underneath.
Underneath it. There you go. Right? That's what you need. Yes, exactly.
Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Yes.
Like right under here.
Just put it. Yeah, exactly. Put a big, strong magnet there. And
on the underside, then no one would know.
No one knows.
You'd be like, wow, it's magic.
Yes.
I love this emblem there.
Kind of a burgundy, isn't it? Is that what yours is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that oxblood, burgundy, maroon, whatever you call it. And it's got that silver badge. Yeah, it's got that.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a nerdy
This one is it was in kind of rough shape. I got it for $30 from somebody in Hawaii. And I think it had been rusted or something, exposed to a lot of salt water. So the guy at our typewriter shop said it was too messed up and he didn't want it, but he did recognize that it had that badge on it. And this is my only broken machine. It's got a drawband issue.
Oh.
You can see. And drawbands are my weakness. So
easy.
Ted.
They are not easy.
I need
help.
You
could ship it to Ted and he'll fix it and ship it back.
Save me.
Save me, Ted. So do you think
back?
I'm a damsel in
3
distress.
years.
I did fix all of the linkages though, but and there were lots that were broken.
Sarah, do you think that typewriter could have been in Hawaii in 1941 when Pearl Harbor happened? Because that's a 30s era typewriter, right?
Yeah, I think you're right, Joe. Let me look at my list. I have a list that I made a while back of like all my typewriters here, and let's see here.
Circa bound.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to hold and answer that question in a little bit. I'm not sure the answer, but I believe it is 30s or 40s. It's one of the first ones because they only made this with the badge on top like this for a year, I believe.
Nice.
This little silver badge. I think it's made out of sterling. I don't know, but yeah.
So Ted could answer that question.
He is correct.
Thank you.
So what year is it, Ted?
I would imagine 30s.
30s? Okay.
If she told me the serial number, I could tell her for sure. But
oh yeah, let's see here.
She wants you to fix it, and then she'll tell you the serial number.
It's on the database actually. This one, I put all of mine except for one machine when I very first got one that I gave to somebody, and I never got the serial number, so I didn't add it to the database. But all my other ones. Sorry, I'm not organized. You guys keep chatting, and I'll see if I can find that serial number for you.
Hey, I got to get going. My family's bothering me. But
Family.
time of the year.
We were your family.
You are my
No.
family. You are my
Oh, here we
family.
go.
No.
Thank you so
Have a
much,
great
David.
have a great time, David.
Yeah.
And Merry Christmas to you.
Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Merry
Thank you.
Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Merry
Hanukkah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Happy holidays. Happy
So,
holidays.
actually,
All right.
Sarah,
Most of us.
Sarah,
I got
open
that.
open the ribbon cover, and it's on your right-hand side.
Thank you.
Oh.
I was having a, I don't know, middle-aged moment. So I've got 101 7101. So 101.
1932.
Woo!
Whoa.
That's an
So,
old.
That
yeah.
was quick.
That's,
That was fast.
so
That
that's
is fast.
9 years prior to Pearl Harbor.
Wow.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't know any history about this one. I wish that I knew more about it.
Yeah.
But you know, the more that I've collected, the fewer histories I've been able to get from people. And I think it's just because of the popularity. Things are switching hands so quickly now.
Yeah.
But you know, it is fun when you can get a backstory of some kind.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. I was listening to you boys earlier, or you gentlemen and lady, earlier this morning.
Boys is fine.
The boys, these are my boys.
The boys. The boys.
The boys. Yeah. And you guys are talking about a family that wouldn't let their kid have a typewriter. And I actually have some friends that I said, oh, I would really love to gift your son a typewriter, because every time he comes over, he's asking me about it. And he's such a great boy. I'd love to share that. And they said, well, we're not sure. It might be a little noisy. And we don't know if he'll actually use it. Maybe he could just borrow it. You know, they weren't keen at all. So I have had that experience, but not as often as I've had people say, gee, I'd really love to get a typewriter for my kid. Actually, yesterday I sold my other Remington Noiseless Model 7 to a family who has a little girl that wants to be a writer when she grows up. And that was going to be her Christmas gift. So they were very excited. So
That's cool.
Awesome.
yeah. So more often than not, people are okay with it. But there are some people that are just like, it's noisy and it's dirty and ugh, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not like that, obviously.
So that
Well, you
reminds me.
cleaned them up.
Yes. So Gregory, didn't we have an earlier question about a what is it, a Remington 5 or something? What was it?
Oh,
yeah,
thank
somebody
you.
was asking about a Remington 5. I've
Yes,
worked on one of those before.
Yeah, they were asking for a comparison between the Remington 5 and a Remington Jr. If there's an advantage one over the other. But what's your experience with the Remington 5?
They're cute little machines. I fixed one up that was actually made in Canada and sold it to somebody. It has the little switch in the front. I believe Ted would know about this, that little rounded, it's like a half moon shape, sort of selector for how heavy the imprint
Touch
is.
control, yeah.
Right, with a little divot in the middle.
Mhm.
They're very cute little machines. I don't know. I felt like the typing was adequate. It wasn't like a dream machine for me. It was very, but a very attractive little machine. And it had the keys that lay flat and come up. And it doesn't do like the Remington 1 where you have it lift up completely. It just stays flat and then rises up. But yeah, I found it to be an okay machine. I haven't tried the other model they're asking about. I think maybe like the Remy Scout or something.
The Remington
Junior.
Jr. is it's actually, there are several different models of Remington Jr. and some of them are like there's one that's a 3-bank semi-standard.
Okay.
Would be a very, very different machine. There are some that are Depression era models called Juniors.
Okay.
So basically anything from Remington
Later.
called Junior is going to be not quite as good as the Remington 5.
Okay. Yeah.
'Cause they're all cost cut models.
Sort of like me with my royal companions.
Yeah.
I have a Remington. Oh, sorry.
That's a fair comparison, I think. Yeah.
I also have a Remington 5, and it's like Sarah mentioned, adequate typing machine. It's not snappy like my little flat top.
Yeah.
But I always put it up to that this is the dirtiest machine I've gotten out of all my machines. But I don't know, maybe he just types the way those type. I find that the carriage shift on it is like the heaviest platen to push up of all my machines. But it has a unique feel to it, unique sound, and kind of like the way those typewriters go up. But comparing it to any other Remington, I wouldn't know. I couldn't say, but I suspect that the stiffness of that machine is kind of attributed to the way it was kept, the condition that I got it in. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, you could send it to me. I'll clean it up for you.
There you go. All the way from Canada.
Yeah.
Right. I know, that's so convenient, right? Just spend all that shipping cost. It's crazy. The person that got it for me, I had sold it to them on Etsy. I sold a few typewriters on Etsy and then kind of backed off from that for a while because the shipping is so expensive. But the person was just thrilled. It was their first machine. And I think that in a way it was more of a showpiece, you know, it was going to be on a desk or on display. So those kind of machines, I think when the action's not so good, but they're cute, those are great little, like, you know, antique shop ones that people enjoy and they think, oh, this is really charming. But if you're going to do some real writing, you want to have something else, something a little bit more like a Smith Corona or Hermes.
Yes.
Someone's
Olympia.
typing and I love the sound.
Yeah.
It's
Bring
Chad.
it on.
Chad typing.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Oh,
All
I
right,
had a
we do-
little share. Oh, sorry. Go
Yes.
ahead.
Oh, go for it.
No, please go for it.
Yeah, you know, so last week Alton Gansky told me I should get a bigger jar for my typewriter money. So I took his advice.
Oh, hey, I like
A
it.
little upgrade here.
Yes.
That's an improvement.
Very
So
good.
thanks, Alton
Yeah.
and Joe for giving me the advice to visualize world peas.
World peas.
World peas, yes.
Yes.
Visualize.
Or more money anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. I need it.
As they say, if you build it, they will come. So if you get a larger typewriter fund jar, then more money is going to come your way.
I hope so, because if it works anything like purses for me, you know, the bigger the purse I get, the more junk ends up in it. So I think I could be onto something here.
Yeah.
I just need to put a bucket on my desk.
Yeah. When my wife looks at a bigger purse, I kind of give her the eye.
The look.
Really? you're
I know.
going to fill it up. And then I'm going to end up carrying it.
Yes.
There is some kind of law of nature. Yeah, there's a law of nature about empty space will be filled to capacity, you know.
Yeah.
Certainly
so
works
true.
with garages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Joe. It's philosophy talk in the morning.
I know.
Philosophy talk with Joe. I love it.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, I noticed we have a new member, Bill from Portland.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi. I just want to
Hello.
tell you I was born and raised in Portland and spent most of my life there. So I'm in San Jose now, the last 10 or so years, but I was born on Southwest Coronado Street, and I used to live by what is it? Not UCSF. I'm forgetting now.
OHSU.
Thank you. OHSU. And, you know, I went to Markham Middle School and
I'll be darned.
yeah, Westland High School and stuff. So anyway, yeah.
I spent 9 months up in Portland back in the early 2000s with my job, and I loved it. I actually absolutely loved it up there. So
yeah, I remember Joe was talking about Powell's books and
yeah, that's
kind of
right.
all the good haunts there.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Elephant's
Walking around.
Delicatessen.
I know, yeah, and going to the McMenamins breweries, you know, like the Kennedy
God.
House, the Kennedy
brew
School,
pubs.
the brew pubs. Yeah. And
Yeah, this is a little known fact, but my second marriage, we had our honeymoon at the Kennedy School in one of the classrooms. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, I'm no longer married. I haven't been for a long time, but
What I liked about it is they had a cigar lounge, and in the Kennedy School, it was called detention. The detention room was the cigar lounge.
I think my husband went down there in the middle of the night. So yeah, I know about that. Yeah. Crazy days.
Quite the empire those guys have built.
It is.
And their movie theaters, love them. Like back in the day, you could go for just cheap, watch a movie and get your beer and your pizza or whatever. It was so fun. Anyway.
Yeah, they're probably hurting this year, I'm guessing. I'm guessing their revenue is significantly down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss my old town. I've been back in a long time.
San Jose's not the same, is it?
No, but the weather's great.
Oh yeah.
You know, and we've got palm trees, which I'll never get over the novelty of looking out my window and seeing these giant palm trees, because it's like you're in Hawaii or something. You're not, because there's all this other junk, but it's like, it's just so cool, because in Portland, you just don't see that. It's evergreen everywhere, which I love Portland in different ways, but San Jose is great. You know,
variety is good. It's nice. Everybody enjoys living in different places. We'd all be lumped on top of each other, you know?
Yeah, it's true. I miss the housing costs in Portland. At least I know it's changed now, but when I was living there, you know, I had a cute little 2-bedroom house for like $900. But now here in San Jose, I've got a 1-bedroom apartment that's considered below market rate, and it's $1,600. And it's just, you know, the rates are just so different. You just,
oh my God.
Yeah, I don't think there's any place left on the West Coast that's inexpensive these days.
Yeah.
No, I've heard it's changed a lot, but
you
know, I'll always love my hometown. So, yeah.
All right, we have a couple more questions. So this one comes from Lena Frost. She says, I've just bought a nice navy and red ribbon. Thoughts about these colored ribbons and favorites or suggestions?
Yes.
They're neat.
They are. We have a pink ribbon on Royal Quiet Deluxe that my daughter has, and she typed on it this morning. We really like it. This is actually something that she did this morning.
Oh, that's nice and dark.
Yeah. Turned out really well, actually. So she's writing that's the wrong thing. She's writing little stories on that with the, you know, pink ink.
Very cool.
That's
cool. For sale.
Yeah.
Well, so I like the purple ink from old typewritten documents around the early part of the 20th century. Those ribbons had some kind of purple to them, and getting that same color purple is kind of difficult at times, but I guess there are purple ribbons, right?
Yeah, I've got some old old stock silk ones from Western Union that I bought.
Yeah.
Western Union. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry.
WD-40'd them, and now they work great.
Good. Yeah. I have a blue ribbon that is nice. I think that was a Ribbons Unlimited ribbon. It's pretty dark. But generally, I kind of like black or red, black usually. I had a brown ribbon from Ribbons Unlimited, and it was never very dark. I almost felt like they needed to make it like brown black, like a mixture of both. It would have been better. I think the same thing is true with fountain pen ink. A brown fountain pen ink often isn't really very dark unless you mix some black with it.
Yeah, I think Gregory was talking about a blue-black ink last weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
I forget who it was. It may have been Dan that was talking about a blue that was very almost black looking. I could be wrong.
It wasn't me. No.
Okay. Well, you know, a week is so long ago that I can't remember.
Yeah, I know.
But I do have on order a brown ribbon. There's a seller on eBay, FJA.
Yes, FJA products.
Yes. And they have like a bunch of different colors. So, and you can even buy a set of them for like $50 that has like, I guess, all the colors they offer. They're all single color. But yeah, they have, well, of course, black, blue, red, green, purple, brown. That might be it. Maybe pink or orange.
Have you guys seen the rainbow? There's like a rainbow ribbon you can get on Etsy.
There's someone who makes, I haven't tried one, but it's interesting because it just has like strips of color all the way across the ribbon lengthwise, so that as you're typing, it changes colors.
Oh,
and
want.
And I think Gregory would probably be into that quite a bit.
Oh,
yeah,
man, yeah.
but my concern would wouldn't the ink bleed into each other? You know how it is when you go red and black, it suddenly gets
That's
red,
the beauty
right?
of it.
It's like,
That's the beauty of it.
Ultimately,
Gregory.
it all turns dark brown eventually. That's
I
know. And there's your brown ribbon.
It's like when the kids mix the different
the
colored Play-Doh.
watercolors. Yeah.
Yes.
Or the Play-Doh and it ends up just being gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
And not
novelty. It'll never be perfect, but
yeah. It does sound
except the
fun,
first
though,
time you
doesn't it?
type on it, but
Yeah.
then it'll start mixing. But it's a novelty.
So a little rarer was colored ribbons for thermal typewriters. They actually made those for a while. I think there was a blue ribbon, I believe. Now this is speaking of the transfer ribbons that enables you to use normal paper with a thermal typewriter. Yeah.
Carbon.
Yeah, carbon type. Yeah, film. But they were very rare and probably hard to find right now.
Yeah.
Probably not working anymore. They're if it's been 30 years that it's been sitting on that tape.
Yeah.
It's not going to print very well.
No, I find that to be true with the regular, even just the black ones, right? The thermal cartridges, the legacy ones. They're very picky as to the quality of paper that works. It needs a real kind of like, the paper you see in a glossy magazine, that kind of coated paper. You kind of need that kind of paper to transfer well. Any kind of a toothy, raggy paper, it just doesn't transfer very well. It's kind of dry.
Yeah.
I had
Go
some
ahead.
stories about what used to be the IBM Whisper Writer. That was a thermal typewriter. It's a big thermal typewriter. It's the industrial size.
Yes.
Gregory.
Here's the thing: is that they made those for a few years, and one problem they ended up having with those is that people would type letters and then put them in an envelope and seal them up and mail them off to their businesses, and they'd end up with a blank sheet of paper with all the letters like kind of floating around inside the envelope because it wouldn't stick to the paper.
Oh no!
And so
You get to assemble the letter yourself. It's like a kit in kit form.
Yeah, I think they ended up recalling a lot of those, and they took them off the market pretty quickly. But that was a big problem with those big thermal typewriters, that the letters just wouldn't stick to the paper.
Wow.
Like a crazy ransom letter.
You have to make it yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of my
you can't put it together fast enough.
One of my Canon type stars, it was pretty clear that someone was testing the typewriter with the ribbon installed, but with no paper. And so as I'm typing on it, and you can't see just looking at the button, but as I'm typing on it, the letters are sticking to the back of the paper. Like,
that's funny.
Thermal typewriters are interesting and weird.
Yeah,
that's why you like them.
I do.
Exactly.
I do like them.
I like them too.
We're attracted to the things that seem familiar to us.
Yes.
There you go. So I'm actually experimenting with different thermal papers, and so I discovered on eBay, and it's coming. I have two coming from China. It's thermal Ekg paper. So it has the kind of reddish. It's like a graph basically in red or pink. I can't really tell. And normally it would have the heart rate or whatever on it. So I'm very curious. I'm very curious to see how that's going to work, especially because it looks like it's rolled the opposite way of the normal rolls that we would use. So the printing side is on the inside.
Okay.
So I mean, it's not a big deal or anything, but it's just interesting. So
that actually seems like it would be better because you're protecting the print.
Exactly.
on
Exactly.
the inside of the roll.
So when you write with this, these will be literally electrocardiograms because you're writing from the heart, and
That is
with
so
an electronic typewriter.
That's good, Joe. That's good.
Wow. Poetry in motion.
Poetry in motion.
Hey, now I'm gonna have to send you a roll.
Thank
you
you.
guys are just
Hey, I'd
like-
love to try it out. I will take you up on that.
All right.
A
it will
virtual
be on
font
its
of
way to you.
brilliance.
A virtual font of brilliance. Yes. Oh gosh.
Now, my hope with these papers is that it's a heavier paper, and I suspect it's going to be.
It will be,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So because that's the problem with the fax paper, it's very, very thin.
Have you found the Brother brand letter size thermal papers, Gregory?
I keep seeing them.
Yeah.
But it's a little more pricey, and I have
Okay,
so much thermal paper.
Okay, I'll send you a pack if you send me a roll of that cardiogram paper.
Yeah,
I'll send
that's a deal.
We'll do a trade.
That's a deal.
Aw.
Excellent.
Or maybe I should drive out to California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can't do that because I'll then means I have to take 10 days off work or 2 weeks off work
Yeah.
and quarantine. Crap.
Oh
yeah.
Speaking of which, 2 weeks ago, somebody in my team got COVID. And so they and everybody else in the team but me had to stay home, and I had to run the whole area by myself for the last 2 weeks.
That's right. I think you were telling us about that last week.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
I know.
Are they better now?
Yeah, they're better actually. He thinks that his middle son probably brought it home because he has a part-time job working at Walmart stocking shelves, and he probably got it there. But
darn it.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law works at Target.
Yeah.
And they are dropping like flies there.
Oh, no.
It's pretty scary.
Well, I'm glad you told us we won't go shopping.
Yeah. So then we work with another guy who is on the other side of the political spectrum and refuses to believe it's very, very serious, of a situation.
Great. So, he can go shopping for us.
He can go shopping. Let him get infected, Oh, well. I don't even want to. I shouldn't even bring that up. I'm sorry. That's just a whole
No, it's okay.
Yeah, it's just madness. It's madness. Anyways.
Yeah. I'm changing the subject. What's Emily reading?
Yes.
Thanks, Ted. Save us from ourselves.
Yes. This is a journal that I started keeping earlier this year. It's just like a flimsy, cheap 30-cent notebook that I decided was going to be my thought catch-all.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I was flipping through to find an old note that I made about some new neighbors that I had. They moved in. I mean, with COVID, like everything just got so weird, and all of a sudden it's like people are afraid to talk to literal next door neighbors. And he's a beekeeper, and he keeps bees, and they make honey. Mm-hmm. And I have kids, and we're doing homeschool. So before the lockdowns, he and I had talked about possibly doing like a lesson where he could show my kids how the bees make the honey and that whole thing. And I was
cool.
Really excited about that. His bees didn't survive the move. I think they didn't survive last winter, so he's getting new bees. But anyway, long story short, I needed to look up his wife's name to make sure that I wrote the right name down on the thank you note that I gave him, and I did.
Oh, good.
That's good.
Excellent. It's good you keep that folder then. I do a similar thing. Anything typed, I just throw it in a folder. So, yeah, very good.
Yeah, the papers just like, I keep everything, like loose papers get tucked in here and there, and it's a mess. Mm-hmm. So one day I'll get more organized, but oh well.
You can make a junk journal.
Organized.
Yeah. I need to just start gluing things down.
Right. Glue sticks. Glue
just
sticks
glue
are.
To just glue it down to the desk.
That's what I do.
Yeah. I know Bernardo makes some cool little notebooks of random stuff that he,
Yeah, I have
junk journals and stuff.
This small one, and this is a Skechers shoe tag. And then let's see, I have my wife brought home Cracker Jacks, and this is the little prizes you get out of Cracker Jacks these days.
Oh, cool.
And so that's, that's that and all that. So yeah.
That's cute. I like your dodo. Is that a
Oh,
dodo
thanks.
bird?
Yeah, that was going to be a logo for my friend Ethan. Just recently got a huge laser cutter. This is like,
cool.
it'll cut a 4 foot by 4 foot sheet of plywood with a laser.
Oh, man.
And he has a 3D printing online business, but he's going to be making some box camera kits for that that come flat out of laser cut plywood, and you build a pinhole box camera. And we were thinking about a logo or a brand name for the camera, and we thought the Dodo would be a good name for a pinhole camera. So anyways,
That's so clever.
So yeah, we were thinking about
That's brilliant.
laser burning some kind of a little logo of the Dodo into the side of the wood. So, as a branding kind of thing. But that just your idea of these notebooks where you can glue things in is just kind of what reminded me of my notebook. And then I do this little. Let me focus this here. This is some kind of a little. What is it? Oh, a little collage.
I was going to say it looks like Hieronymus Bosch.
Yeah, it's just from the newspaper.
That's so fun.
So anyways, so I throw stuff together like that. Very funny. At least it's funny for me. Anyways.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Exactly.
Yep. We all got to survive this time. Keep ourselves entertained.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then speaking of Portland, we used to have a AAA ball club that was the Albuquerque Dukes, and it was named the Dukes because the city of Albuquerque was named after the Duke of Albuquerque, who lived in Spain like 300 years ago or something. But the Dukes got bought out by a Portland organization, and they became the Portland Ducks. So it went from the Dukes to the Ducks. But this used to be the old logo of the Albuquerque Dukes.
Oh my goodness. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I still have a sticker from that anyways. Okay. Anyway, that was a whole nother, oh, here's a typewriter related thing. Here you go. Here's a picture of my Voss typewriter with the wooden thing. This is one of these little zinc prints, zero ink. It's a thermal printing, color printing technology with thermal paper. Anyways.
Oh, cool.
Is it a sticker?
Yeah, it's a sticker. Peels off. You can put it in notebooks. Yep.
Yeah, I just bought myself a Polaroid printer.
Oh, good.
The newest one. I bought one to
I have one
joke around with. So.
right here. Yeah, mine is the Polaroid printer also right here, and it uses the little paper, the little zinc paper. And
I want to get one.
Yeah, there's an app you put on your phone, and then you can take a photo with your phone and put it in the app and send it to the printer, and it'll print it out. So
Oh my gosh, my kids would be doing that
showing off his
constantly.
notebook too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat. Good job.
He's got his zinc prints.
What's that, Ted?
I use the.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Anthony was showing off his zinc.
That's
print,
right.
his,
he was.
Thing. So.
Oh, cool.
There's the EP20.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of books and so forth, I have a question for Ted, actually.
Okay.
Earlier, I believe it was Anthony that had mentioned the Typewriter Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually out perusing your site and the books you've created. And so I see that it looks like there's the Typewriter Bible, and then you have brand specific books that you've released as well.
Mm-hmm.
Are you planning on doing anything for Olympia typewriters?
We have one for the Olympia SM1 through 7. We have one for the SG1, and we have one for the electric SGE 30, 40, and 50, I think.
Okay.
So
actually, now that I think about it, I did see those. So I have 2 SM9s and a SG3, of course.
Okay. Yeah. See, don't have any for those. I haven't found the factory manuals for those yet. So.
Okay. So as far as the regular Typewriter Bible that Anthony had shown, is that cover pretty much most? I mean, can you kind of
that covers that? Basically, is it starts with basic training on the mechanics of typewriters, like all the different physics involved with the planes and the gears and the levers, and it basically explains how all those things work, and then it goes in and tells you how those things work in common American typewriters, standards, and portables, all manuals, from the 40s. Basically, it was written in 1945, and so it covers all the Corona, Royal, Underwood, and Smith Corona, LC Smith, and Remington from the 40s. And it basically goes through and teaches you all the basics for those machines. It doesn't get into super specific things about repair. It just gives you a lot of the real basics. And then when you're ready to actually tear apart a machine and go through every single thing, then you'd want to look at the individual factory manuals for each.
I see. Okay.
The orange book is for basic training, basically.
It also shows all of the different typefaces from different machines. Ted, is that in the other books or just in the Bible?
It's in this one.
In the other books, I tend to have a user manual, the factory parts and service manuals, a typeface manual, sometimes an age list, and sometimes a tool list. So basically, they will be specific to that particular brand or particular machine. The General Bible has a list of basically everything.
Yeah. So when you said the orange book is the basic book, and I was thinking about the movie Full Metal Jacket, and if you had typewriter books in boot camp there, never mind.
I think of it in terms of Dune, where they have the Orange Catholic Bible.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
That's the orange book right there.
So last night I did finally get my Royal Standards book.
There you go.
Very pleased with that. And then also the little 1909, The History of the Typewriter, being an illustrated account of the origin, rise, and development of the writing machine by George Carl Mayers.
Yep, Mayers, 1909.
Wow.
Yeah, very cool.
So, yeah, there's lots of stuff you can get.
Yes, yes, there is.
I'm gonna eventually collect them all. Yeah, we just have to face it.
Yay!
Yeah,
yeah.
That's a good one. You've got
that
this
you put
one,
those
Gregory?
together.
Oh, you got that one.
Oh, I have that one,
typewriter.
Sarah. I have that one too, Sarah.
I know.
You
I
love
this
it?
one
That
so
one's a cute
much.
one.
I love it.
What is that one?
This is
That's Jane Van Gool's book.
yeah, this is really a graphic illustration of the mid-century ones.
Yeah.
And then it comes with this
typewriter
little
porn right there.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking awesome. It's really great. And then it has also this little guide for secretaries, which is, totally
it's a
not
reprint of a Royal
PC,
book,
but
I
oh god, I love it. It's so great.
Be sure to make coffee for your boss.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. They have some really good ones. How to be a secretary. God, I love it. It's just hilarious. Don't hide your lie. This one. You are a good housekeeper. You look beautiful over the telephone.
There you go.
Nice.
Not sexist
Anyway.
at all.
Not at all. Not at all. You know that silence is golden.
That's true for everybody, though.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's so awesome. Never sulk in your tent.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway.
Actually,
it's a great-
those old little, those are good nuggets. Never sulk in your tent. I mean,
That's
yeah, totally.
I'm guilty of that sometimes. And then I realize what I'm doing. And it's like, just go out there and ask for what you'd like nicely. You can do that.
Yes.
It's so helpful.
Totally.
I had an old cookbook that had it had a graphic of different things that you could do as a housewife to just improve your daily enjoyment of life. And two of the little bits of advice have always stuck with me. And one of them was, if you're just feeling low energy, to just lay down on the floor and put your arms up over your head for 2 to 5 minutes and close your eyes if you can. So that's
2 to 5 minutes. That's great.
I'm like, if I can make it to 30 seconds, if I can just get to the floor, that would be great. Without a child jumping on me. So it's very dangerous for me to do that.
Yeah.
And the other one was to think of funny stories that happen during your day so that you can recount them during the dinner meal. So
what was
that? I thought that was funny too. To think of funny stories that happen during your day so that you can recount them at dinner time. And there's a picture of a girl like trying to get a cat out of a tree. That's her
cute.
story. I'm like, that's not my life. I don't have a cat. What do I do now?
That reminds me of this one too.
Yeah.
This is a similar type of book.
Eloise's
housekeeping hints. I have this one. I keep it on my shelf just if I need a little humor. It tells you how to get stains out and stuff, but it really has some hilarious comments as well. So anyway, the olden days.
Yes.
So on YouTube,
I was watching yesterday and today I was watching a couple of videos from the 40s and 50s about secretary work and how to take care of your typewriter. And I was watching this very proficient lady using a standard typewriter. Cards were jumping in front of she was writing on cards on the front and the back, and she was making them jump from the front of the typewriter to the back to a box. It was fascinating.
Yeah, those are those old Navy videos, I believe.
Yeah.
Those are great.
Yeah, those are cool.
Incredible.
Yep.
And there was there were a couple of ones on how to be a good secretary. So if you haven't watched them, I recommend it.
So speaking of old films like that, I was watching one that was about proper typing technique, and so it's this man, and then on either side are these two women, and they're of course they're typing incorrectly, and then he's correcting them on how to do it. And so
I think I've seen that one too.
Yeah, for the carriage return, he says you press the carriage return, and when your hand gets to the left home row keys, you're supposed to let go and let it just keep sliding across. To me, that's kind of scary.
You've never watched Ron Mingo type then?
Oh, he's crazy fast.
That guy can throw a carriage.
Wow.
What was it? He had a little song that he would sing there when he was going on there.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, do all typewriters, would every typewriter do that? Or because to me, it seems like you have to push it all the way across.
You're supposed to throw it, but
I think a standard typewriter with a heavy carriage works better because you get enough momentum going and it keeps going. With a really small portable, it just doesn't have as much mass, and you have to kind of complete the motion yourself more.
Yeah.
And they wanted to keep the repairman busy too. So
yeah, exactly.
And also you have ultra portables like the Hermes Rocket, which simply doesn't line advance until you get it all the way over.
That's right. Exactly.
Impetus to hit the line advance.
Right.
Yeah.
There's just no way you could throw a carriage like that.
Yeah. So in the comments on YouTube, we have Jack Sellgirl. She apparently just bought the Repair Bible.
Oh,
yay!
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
Very
Congratulations.
good. You're one of us
have a
now.
question?
Welcome to the cult.
The cult.
No,
We'll mail you the secret handshake.
Oh wait. There. That's the secret handshake.
The secret carriage advance.
That's right.
Whee!
All right. So there is
Any other
one
questions?
question. One question left, and it's actually mine.
Okay.
So, and I can't believe we haven't talked about this before. At least I don't think so. Is there a particular time of day that you usually type?
Somewhere between midnight and midnight.
You write one sentence, Ted?
No, that's
Okay.
all the way around the clock.
Yeah, 24 hours.
Noon.
Oh, I was
midnight.
being, you know.
He's
There you
typing
go.
in his sleep.
No, you type all the time.
I was noticing last week that I enjoy typing in when it's light out, or at least when I have a lot of light. I don't know if that's a winter, thing. My video table has a lot of light on it. And I was sitting there last week with my Groma Calibri and a roll of paper, and I typed about 3 feet, just random stream. But I had all this light streaming in, from these lights. So it kind of like, I think it helps. Also, like it's getting to be close to noon here, and it's getting lighter in my window. So I think the light helps me think or something. The idea of late at night with just one little desk lamp in a dark room, it doesn't inspire me as much.
Joe is solar powered.
I need solar power. That's right.
I think it's our fair skin somehow. My kids would always wake up with the light of day, as soon as the first light, and I would wish they would sleep in and they wouldn't. But it seems like for some reason, I think because of our light pigmentation, we're more sensitive to the light, and it instantly wakes us up. I don't know.
That could be
Crazy theory that I have.
Get some eye covers for them. Get them.
Yeah.
Right.
And for
the
me.
face. Yeah, for you. And then earplugs. Maybe
and
also.
then I can't see or hear them. When
that's right.
Awesome until they jump on me.
I know where I usually type between 8 and 10 o'clock at night, simply because the kids are in bed. And at first I was afraid that I was going to keep them up because their bedroom is next to my office. So it just shares a wall and they could hear it. And I went in and I said, boys, is that typing bothering you? And they actually asked me to do that. It helps them go to sleep. They said they like the noise, the sound of the type slugs, and it helps them fall asleep. So that was a win-win for me.
Yeah, that's good.
Works out perfectly.
Helps them get to sleep. So there's been nights where, there's been nights where I didn't have anything to type, and they'd come out. My little buddy Ethan, he'd say, "Dad, can you type something? Doesn't even have to be anything, Dad. Can you just hit the keys so my brother and I can hear it?" So I'm like, yeah, I can do that. That was not twisting my arm at all. So
no.
I think it's that they know that you're there, and that's kind of, it's like when I'm cleaning house a little bit after bedtime or whatever, doing dishes or whatever. It's just that knowing that their mom or their dad is still kind of present, and it's reassuring that they're not in this lonely house where the boogeyman is coming.
I never thought about that, but that does. Yeah. So
I think, and I actually found a recording online, or there are a couple of YouTube ones where you can listen to ambient typewriter sound going.
The ASMR, or what do they call some of those?
I don't know, but it's kind of a cool thing. But I do think it is relaxing and meditative, but I also think there's that component of kids just wanting to know that their parents are still there doing something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Comforting, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like talking till you fall asleep, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's very cool.
Yeah.
So keep it up. Keep typing. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like a reminder that, someone's there watching over you,
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, oh, that's just Dad. Okay. I know that sound. That's familiar.
Well, I know they did ask me to make some kind of a recording that they could bring to their mom's house.
Oh my gosh. That's so sweet.
I don't know how that's going to go over, but
that's
it made me
really
feel good.
You should do it.
That is really precious. That is
You should
so
do
sweet.
it, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should totally do it.
I'll have to run that past the boys and see how their mother would like. Because I'm trying to keep some peace in the relationship.
Oh,
yeah. If they
that's
wear it
important.
on, they could listen on headphones maybe or something.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea.
But then also you're getting them trained to always be people that love typewriters.
Dan.
They're going to grow up wanting to be around them, which is pretty
Unlike
awesome.
those other parents we were talking about earlier.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Terrible.
They don't know
people.
what they're missing, man.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I come from a family that has always loved and appreciated history, and my dad was much older than my mom. Now I'm 48. My mom is 72, and my dad was 28 years older than my mom.
Wow.
Which most people thought, that'll never work. Well, actually, I grew up with parents that I think I saw them have one argument my whole life. It was really a good thing. But anyways,
Wow.
my dad grew up in the Depression,
Mhm.
and you didn't waste anything. And that sometimes was hard to live
Yeah.
through, because you left one pea on your plate. You better finish it up. But anyways,
Yeah.
you fixed everything that you owned. You took care of everything that you owned, and things were all mechanical. There was no electronics, and he was always very mechanically minded, and it just kind of passed on to us kids. So I've always loved, think about a typewriter. For me, who likes history, well, there's the history there. I like mechanical things. Well, that hits that, it's simpler times. I just wish I grew up years ago sometimes, because of simpler times. Well, the typewriter brings me there, and to a time that I really wasn't around. So I do want my kids to know some of that, to appreciate it, because all they see nowadays from their friends is a throwaway society. Everything throwaway. And they seem to be receptive to it, and
Yeah.
I'm glad for that.
Me too.
Oh, I was
Me too. It's a neat thing.
Get a
think,
nice
It's like
shot of
Joe's got a
Joe's
closet.
office.
Ah, Joe. I've got just Joe in the screen. Nothing happening there.
Oh, he had to answer the door. I
Okay.
think it was Kevin.
Oh, here's
Yeah.
Diane. Hi, Diane.
There's Diane.
Sorry.
Kevin, go.
What is today's subject?
Asked and answered.
Anything and everything.
Pretty
It's
much.
questions and answers, a little bit of sci-fi history.
Ufology.
Yeah.
Ufology, yeah.
Bad
I
parenting.
have
How
a
to get the
question
kid to
about a
sleep at night.
typewriter then.
Okay.
I have an issue on. Oh, I have a cat on my chair. I have
Move
an
the cat
issue
off
on
the
one of my
chair.
SG1s.
Yeah, not under the chair though.
No, it's on the chair.
No,
Ted already did that.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to turn the camera around, I think. Oh,
Oh, is this that wide carriage one you got, Diane?
My bucket.
no, but
Platinum.
what I have is this does not want to lay as flat as this. This one's like normal. This one just it
Is
will
it cracked?
not. No, it's not.
No, those SG1 card holders are spring loaded. And probably the spring is busted on one of them. Or there might be an obstruction that's getting in there and keeping it from.
Well,
going
these little
forward.
switches don't work.
Yeah, those. Normally those switches, I think, would allow you to hold the card guides back, like it'll lock it in place. If they're not working, then probably the spring system is messed up in some way.
Oh.
So you might want to open it up and take a look at the springs and see if they're twisted or mangled in some way.
I think I did at one point, and they didn't seem to. They seem to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the switches themselves don't seem to. It doesn't seem to do anything.
Well,
sorry,
it's broken.
Yeah,
That's one of my bucket list typewriters.
It works on one of my. It works on at least one of the others.
Mm-hmm. Let me take a look at the docs.
Oh, so we've got more than one SG1. Okay, just twist the knife. Just twist the knife.
Oh, I have 4.
Oh my God, this is one of my bucket list machines.
Well,
someday.
That one moves a little bit, but
which one?
There we
The
go.
SG1.
Yes.
This is the one with the 17 CPI manuscript.
Oh.
Oh my.
17?
Yeah.
Oh my
Itty
God.
bitty.
Tiny.
What was the?
Fine print.
What did
Imagine
they
how
use that
small
for?
That is great.
Is that
I'll
for
see
like
if I can
writing
type
newspaper
something for
articles?
you.
I did not know that they made a 17 CPI machine. See, I'm learning more and more with each week from you good folks.
Excellent.
Isn't it fun?
It is.
I'm learning so much too.
Don't you love the injector lever on those?
Those are great.
Where it zips the paper in.
Yeah, like a stick shift. Oh, look at that.
Oh, wow.
Let me try.
Boy, you could crank a lot on one sheet of paper with that machine.
Oh my goodness.
Imagine how small the escapement teeth are, you know.
Oh,
This
man.
is one of the ones I brought to Albuquerque, Joe.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking earlier about standard machines, and you can sling the carriage when you're doing a return, and it'll sort of keep moving. Is that the true with your SG1? You can kind of throw it real hard, and it'll finish the carriage return.
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay.
It's like a typewriter club dare. Make people start slinging their carriages.
Sling the carriage.
Pretty
Do it
soon,
live.
It's a broken machine.
Live on YouTube.
I suppose
Take the bait.
use the machine enough.
Yeah, that would be bad.
If you got used to your machine, used it enough, you would get a feel for it, I would think.
Yeah, you would.
Does the SG1 have a like a governing mechanism for the carriage? So if you don't have any tabs set and you were to hit the tab key,
it has a tab brake. Yeah, but I don't know if the tab brake is in service when you're just doing a return. I don't think it is.
It's interesting on the SG3 if you don't have the tab set and you hit the tab key, it will actually slow the whole carriage down before it gets to the end.
Yeah.
That's the brake that you're talking about?
Yes. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. But I think the tab brake is not engaged when you just do a carriage return normally. So.
Oh, right.
Anyways,
Okay. Yeah, sure. It took me a second to figure out what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Excellent. Does anybody usually we have a chance to show interesting things? Does anybody have anything they want to show?
Well, I suppose I could show off my JP1 that I just did quite a bit of silencing on.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see it.
This has not only the sides filled in with foam and felt, and the top cover done with felt, but also I have the Joe Van Cleve felt spring silencers.
Spring silencers, yes.
And I recovered the platen with shrink tube. And I did the ring and cylinder, which is something that I could show you where those adjustments are because they're not covered in any of the documentation. Although it's really simple because it is just moving the carriage
rails
away from the thing. So these two screws on either side of the carriage rails. I looked in the parts book and saw that this rail had oval shaped holes.
Oval slots, yes.
And so you just loosen those screws and you can move the carriage back and forth along its tracks and account for the extra platen diameter that you add when you do a shrink tube on it. So
see, I wondered about that.
So if you do a brother, now you know where the ring and cylinder adjustment
very cool.
is.
So can you give us a typing sample of how quiet it is? Or
oh yeah, I've been typing out it all day.
Have you? Oh, okay.
The whole time you've been hearing it. So
or not hearing it.
Or not hearing it.
Well, you still hear it, but it's more of a normal typewriter sound rather than the tinny, metal brother JP1 sound. So
it's a Monkster. Oh yeah, that is nice and muted. That's quite nice.
That's a nice noise.
It really is.
Oh, Ted, will you record that for us? We could all listen to it when we go down
Yes.
for our naps later.
That's right.
Maybe so.
ASMR time.
It's a little more
I like
Thelonious
that.
Monk than Ted Monk, I think.
Yes, Thelonious
Good
Monk.
one.
That's
We
right.
could do a mix. That'd be awesome,
It
wouldn't it?
sounded good.
Little
So
jazz,
yeah,
little
it's
type.
I've found, oh, and I also replaced
That's awesome.
the type bar rest, which on the Brother JP1 is hard rubber.
Yeah. And you
I
put
replaced
felt?
it with felt, well, actually foam rubber yoga mat material. So
It has to be yoga mat, right? It has to be yoga mat.
and it's blue, just like the typewriter is.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Nice.
Very cool.
Nice. Sweet.
So all the soundproofing is blue.
Oh,
It all
wow.
match.
Wow.
And
That's
so
pretty
that's
cool.
what I had to show off. Is,
So
Nice. Thank you.
do you have a name for the machine now that you've done the whole blue silent blue treatment?
I do not yet have a name for this typewriter. This one hasn't jumped out and told me what it's called yet.
Okay, well, it probably
Some of them
will.
do.
Yeah.
Some of them do. Some of them just have a name immediately, but this one has not.
I know on YouTube there's the channel Just My Type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Just My Typewriter, and she names all of her
That's right.
all of her typewriters.
Those are cute little videos. She does a nice
Yeah.
job.
Yeah,
She does.
I
Those are
invited
cute.
her on, so hopefully she'll join us at some point.
Yeah. That reminds me of my brother-in-law who lives in Santa Fe, and he had 2 Basset hounds, and he gave them full Hispanic names. One was Sebastian Ortiz, and the other one was Regina Gallegos.
Oh, I love it. That's so
His
awesome.
last name is neither of those. It's
Basset I mean, I would think a Chihuahua, maybe, but not a Basset.
Yeah.
I love when people do stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
So great.
that's pretty funny. Well, he's a pretty colorful character, anyways.
That's awesome.
He,
I have a
he's
question.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay. I can wait.
I'm just saying he spent a few years up in the Seattle area. He was born and raised in Santa Fe. And around Christmas time, it's always traditional to do farolitos or luminarias, which are paper bags with candles in them.
Oh, yeah.
And this is like back in the 70s. And he tried that up in Seattle, and a neighbor called the fire department on him.
As they should.
Oh, well, anyways, that was funny.
Forest fire starters.
Yeah.
I've always found it funny how in some states or counties or whatever, it's legal to like burn your leaves. But here in California, that's definitely illegal.
Right. My grandpa used to burn his trash in the backyard by the alley, you know.
Yeah.
It was-
I've seen some people doing it here this year.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question about
Yes, go ahead.
a sound deadening question, kind of going along with what Ted Mudd was saying.
Yes.
Okay, so I heard about this sound deadening stuff you can get for cars. Have you guys tried this yet?
No.
I haven't either, but I bought a box of it. It's called Noiko or something, or Noiko. These are sheets of stick-on sound deadening that they use inside of vehicles for, like, if you have a stereo system and you want to hear really well. So I was thinking this might work inside the typewriter. I don't know. It's just something that
Tell us how it
I would
works.
think it would.
Open it.
I'm curious about it. It's it says car sound deadening material, and it's 80 mil, and you get 5 square feet of this stuff. But you can cut to size.
And you
so.
peel the back off.
Yeah, it's like a silver looking thing. I'll open it up and I'll show you guys some.
Yeah, show us.
I haven't opened it yet. I was afraid like maybe I'd made a really bad decision, but it wasn't that much money.
Well, you know, I bought adhesive craft foam from Hobby Lobby. It's about an eighth of an inch thick, and then they also have the felt, but I think the foam works better. But I don't really know if that's as good as you can get as far as. What did you use, Ted? What kind of did you have to glue it yourself, or was it self-adhesive?
Well, I have craft felt that I actually bought a stack of just sheets of felt at a Goodwill that somebody had donated.
Oh, was it thick or is it real thin? Like
it's about an 1/8 inch.
Okay, yeah.
On the inside.
I have that stuff too.
And then on the side panels of the machine itself, I filled them with foam rubber first.
Okay.
Kind of that sound deadening foam rubber, and then I put felt on top of that for a little thicker, more dense. And so it's like the entire side panel of the machine is full of sound deadening material. There's no space between the shell and the frame anymore. And,
so
it really deadens the sound.
Okay. So Sarah, let's show us that. Let's see. Yeah.
It's right here. It's it's kind of like a foil on top.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And it's got some sort of I don't know.
It's kind of
gummy
like
stuff in the inside.
Yeah, like a
and then a sticky back thing.
Like tar paper almost on the inside.
Yeah. That looks like some of the stuff. The insides of it looks like some of the stuff that they used to use in the original typewriters for sound deadening, but.
That's kind of what I was thinking. The only difference I think is that it's like this.
Yeah, the foil. Yeah.
Foil, but it has that same textured surface. It's very
foil perforated at all. Is the foil perforated at all? I'm just curious. No, it doesn't look like.
No, you get like a bunch of sheets of it. So this is just one of many sheets that are in the box, and then you cut it to fit.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll be interested to hear how it works.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm holding
no pun intended.
Exactly. I'm like, well, it hasn't quieted me down yet, so clearly it doesn't work.
It doesn't work, Sarah.
It's broken.
Refund.
You get a nice tan though from it.
Yeah, that's right.
I know, just what I don't need. I've had too much exposure already in my life. But yeah.
You can give your typewriter a suntan.
Yeah, you could use it for Zoom meetings for lighting. They're like reflectors.
I'll wear it on my head to keep the aliens away.
There you go.
Well, that doesn't work.
I'm wondering if that aluminum, that kind of shiny side, might be reflective of sound.
Yeah, I was wondering
whether you ought to like glue felt on top of that and then stick it in.
It's a good question. I don't know. I'm going to read the description
that was my
manual
thought
here.
as well.
They tell you to do a whole lot of stuff that looks pretty complicated.
So are they suggesting putting it on the underside of your passenger compartment and like the engine firewall side? Maybe that's,
No, I mean, here's
fireproof.
Oh, so they're saying put it on the inside. Oh,
it's going to be covered up by other things once
by
it's
other
installed.
things. Yeah.
Like
I think so.
cards or,
They want you to use all this high-tech mumbo jumbo. I don't know. I'm a little scared of it.
They want you to use scissors.
Oh, and you have to
mumbo
use
jumbo.
For this installation?
Yeah, highfalutin mumbo jumbo. And
I think it's more mumbo than jumbo. I think.
Do the mumbo jumbo. It's really complicated. I mean, all I wanted, my idea was cut it and stick it on. Like,
I think that's all you need to do.
Right?
That's all you need. They're saying using like a roller, like one of those little rollers for ink. What do you call it? Rubber stamp printing or something? Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm sure that's probably just.
Yeah, you could have one of those.
Just use my one of little stamps.
Just your little stamp thing, exactly.
Yeah. Hang it
So
on
I'm sure
with a
it'll
hammer.
work. But I like Ted's idea, maybe putting some adhesive craft foam or felt on top of it as a 2-layer thing. Yeah.
Well, they have multiple layers.
Yeah.
So what was under the foil layer?
Let's see here. So under the foil layer is something that's, yes, exactly, Ted. It's kind of like a tar. It's a sticky kind of a, black stuff. And then on the back of it, it's stick-on. So you just have to make sure that you press it on firmly enough. I think it's about making a good adhesion to the metal surface.
Yeah. I guess my thought was maybe you could peel the foil off, but if it's just more of that material, then maybe not.
I think the tar is actually the sound deadening material itself.
Yeah, I think Joe's right. And I also think that the foil is really kind of protecting your hands from getting covered in this goop.
Yeah, that's true.
Otherwise, it's all really gooey. It probably gets on everything. It looks nice. It has a nice smooth texture. But I'm not sure which. Maybe I'll find a machine that I don't super love and try it out on that one. And then if I ruin it, then oh well.
we have a good comment on YouTube. John Young says, "Just don't use the evil IBM foam."
Oh, no.
That
For
is it terrible?
Selectrics, oh, it disintegrates.
Just-
It's terrible. It turns into tar. It's
Oh.
awful.
Oh,
If you've ever had a chance to like open up a Selectric that you find at a thrift store or something, you know, a 30-year-old machine like that, and look at the sound deadening material in there, just
Yeah,
stick
it's
your
bad.
finger in it, and
It's
it
bad.
just makes this huge mess. And it's a job to get out, but I've had to clean out a few Selectrics like that, and the only thing you can do is just to get all that stuff out of there. You just strip the shell off the machine and vacuum and scrape and get, you know, solvents to get that stuff out of there, because it's awful. It's nasty.
Wow.
Is that
That's a
what
labor
you
of
do
love.
to clean them before putting more felt in them, Ted?
Oh yeah, definitely. You
I
got.
would
get
always
that stuff
clean,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. With any machine, I would clean it really well first, because
Mm-hmm.
otherwise you're going to get particulate matter that sticks to whatever adhesive you're using, and that might might compromise.
And even if it's not a Selectric, you want to get that soundproofing material out of there to get the smell out, because a lot of the smell comes from the soundproofing material. So
yeah, that's like
you know,
step one,
if you're
mildew
gonna do
removal.
a Smith Corona, you definitely want to get all that stuff out of there. If you're gonna,
What
if
do you
wanna get rid
use
of
to
the smell.
scrape to get it out?
Screwdrivers and putty knives, pretty
Oh.
much, and you know, solvents.
I mean, I do
What's
have this
solvent?
stuff as well. This is stuff everybody else is talking about.
That's
Got that
good
too.
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
I almost wonder if you could use like a little Dremel.
Maybe if you really want to scratch up the paint on the inside of the machine.
Yeah, that's true.
Or,
There
you
must
know,
be
wire
something you could
brush.
soak it in so that it would like fall off more readily.
I don't know that it's ever
No?
that easy. The glue that holds that stuff in there is basically tar.
Oh.
So, it's work. You just gotta do the work.
That's why I just try and ignore it. Oh man.
I just
A
leave
lot of
it.
machines
I
you
just
can.
leave it in there unless it really stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the machines you can, but Selectrics you basically can't. You have to get that stuff out of there. Otherwise, it just melts all over the machinery inside.
So I've seen it more like turn to powder, the foam part.
Yeah.
And you can just scrape it and it'll just fall off as powder. But then there's Ted's right. There is an underlying layer that is sticky, but then I think if you just cover it up with something like some other adhesive layer, it's probably okay. But the powder, the foam part itself turns to powder. It just flakes all inside the machine and clogs up the works.
Yeah, that's some of them. Others actually turn into goo. It depends on what kind of soundproofing material they put in there.
Okay.
But it's all bad.
Yeah. I think the one I had was the Model 71, which is the Selectric one. It had the dry, powdery kind of foam.
Yeah, if you pick up a Selectric 3 or a later Selectric 2, they'll have the denser foam that just turns into tar, basically. You can't even touch it without getting it all over yourself. No fun.
No.
One of my SG1s has like Joe described it. The stuff is just crumbling and
Yeah.
Get it out.
On my Royal 440, it has those big empty compartments on the side. Would it be beneficial to spray like a foam in there?
I'm not sure I would spray a foam in there. I would just use foam, like the
polyurethane foam rubber. Polyurethane foam rubber, like in the sheets. You can buy like a half inch thick or half inch up to 2 inches thick, and just cut it to size. Put it in there.
The one that looks like egg crates that has sound stuff you put on your walls for your sound booth. You could use that, especially inside of like the 440 where you have a good 4 inches of dead space in there.
Yeah.
You could fill that up with that foam and then put like a layer of felt over the top and just completely fill up that whole chamber.
Actually, packs of $100 bills fit really good in there.
Bottles of whiskey.
And whiskey.
Especially if you're going to send them down to Joe Van Cleve.
Yeah.
Those revolvers, you know.
Yeah. And
Cigar
magazines, cigar storage.
Yeah.
That's right.
It
all comes together now.
Typewriter money in there.
There you
That's
go.
right.
There we go. That's my new jar.
You
Just
you
a
need
big
a
old
Royal
typewriter.
440.
A Royal 440.
And you can't get a bigger typewriter money jar than a Royal 440 inside.
Just don't give it away.
Don't give
Just
it
a
away.
big
That's right.
hollow, like, take out all the machinery and it's just like this big open cavity.
The FBI is never going to find that. It's inside the typewriter.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd find it.
They find it.
Mhm. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, darn it.
Now, Ted, I do have a question. So I have the Royal 440, but of course there's the 470 also, which I think looks a lot better than the 440. But
Okay.
other than the looks, is there any real significant differences? Do you know?
I don't know. I've had a 440. I've never had a 470, so I can't really picture it in my head right now. But if it's a Royal Standard made, sometime before 1980, it's going to be that same Royal mechanism that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they made two different kinds, but those were for electrics. The other frame was for the electrics, so I don't think there's going to be much of a change in the manual one.
Okay.
They were all built on the same frame
Principle.
and internal mechanics.
Yeah.
So your FP, your 440s, your Emperors, or your Empress.
Impressed, yeah.
They're all going to be the same inside.
So Ted is basically giving you permission, Gregory, to go look for a 470.
I'm going to, because it's a much better looking typewriter. The 440 is one of the blandest typewriters you can get.
Very square.
Oh. Oh, and it's very gray.
Mhm.
Yes.
The FP, it has that very nice texture on the front, which I love. It's still a reasonably bland typewriter, but it has that nice texture on the front. And I think I saw one that was actually blue, an FP that was blue.
Yeah.
So,
They came in colors.
Yeah.
So you can find the green one, the blue one, the salmon one. So they came in the same colors that the Futura did.
Quite deluxe. Oh, Futura, yeah. Futura, yeah. Okay. Well, see now, roping a whole other can of worms.
Now you're
here.
just gonna have to buy all those too.
Opening a 6-pack of worms.
Well, if I ever do get a 470, it's definitely going to replace the 440 just because they look better. But I did reach out to JJ Short,
Okay.
and got a quote on the platen for the FP wide carriage 15-inch, $85. Plus I would have to pay shipping.
Yep.
It's about normal.
And it was actually I think his name was Paul Short or
Yeah, I think brother or something.
yeah, he replied, and the first thing he said is "Brother Short."
Yeah.
Oh,
we have the same
cute.
last name, but I didn't get a family discount though.
Darn it.
Yeah, they're pretty friendly, and
They
a
are.
portable platen is going to cost you 70, so or
Okay.
75. So
What are you doing,
No.
cat?
not that big a difference.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be a lot more, so I think I'm just
Probably
gonna do it.
that
Yeah.
that makes it cost more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then the shipping back and forth, and then I've had this where the guy that does ours locally will take them off, ship them up to JJ Short, get them back and reinstall them. So he'll charge you a little installation fee too. So
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
ended up paying like 100, 120.
Yeah.
But to me, it was worth it, just to do it.
So they didn't offer any instructions. Like, do I need to remove the plate knob? Because you can easily take it out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take the platen
Remove
knobs
all
off.
hardware.
Yeah.
Okay.
They definitely want you to do that. Anything that might
Okay.
get knocked off or damaged while you're, so you just want the roller and maybe the gear on the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as the thing you want to avoid is to have things sticking up past where the platen is. So if you have a gear that's larger than the diameter of the platen, you probably ought to take that off, because they got to put it on a machine and lathe it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Got it.
So anything that's sticking up over that diameter is going to get potentially damaged.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And Gregory, I do believe they offer discounts if you submit a bunch of them at the same time. They'll do a multiples discount.
they do, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you have to
Yeah.
send quite a few in for that.
Yeah.
Did they give you a turnaround time?
Generally 2 weeks.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think.
I mean,
think
I've
that's what
had
they
it
told
take-
me.
Yeah. I've had it take 3 or 4 weeks if I took it to my typewriter shop to do. It would be like a month later. I
The
got
thing
my
with that
machine back.
though is he's trying to batch a bunch of platens
Yes.
together. So you might wait a week before he
Mhm.
has enough platens to send in to JJ Short. So
Exactly.
discount.
Exactly.
So have you guys had any quality issues with the platens being out of round or eccentric with JJ Short?
There were problems right at the beginning when he was
Okay.
starting out.
Yeah.
But I got one of the very first platens done by JJ Short, and it was perfect. So
Okay. The reason why I asked is my local typewriter guy, John Lewis, who's in his 70s, he won't use JJ Short because of that problem. But I think the other guy that he used to use now quit doing them. So John is going to have to probably bite the bullet and go back to
he
using
might
JJ
have-
Short.
Yeah, he might have experienced JJ Short way back in the beginning.
Yeah.
And he was still getting his feet underneath him and trying to figure out how to do it. So
Yeah, I think he just got a bad taste in his mouth for it. But
I have not heard that being a problem recently at all.
okay, because I've only had one done by him, and it's been fine, so I don't have any issue. Yeah.
The problem that they do have is when they're recovering power rollers for IBMs. Those have to be perfect. And I've heard that there are some problems with power rollers. But if you're not recovering power rollers, then you don't have a problem.
Okay.
I had an issue with one of my Smith Premier platens because the end on the right, it wasn't cut in far enough. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
Because I want to say it's like part of the variable mechanism is on that side, and you have to press it one way, and a piece of metal needs to go down, and it's like it hit on this one, and it's like basically I had to send it back, and they just had to trim a little bit off of that side. But
you got a razor blade.
Yeah, good point. I mean, I've had like 5 or 6 of them done, and they've all turned out really. I know. Well, my mom.
Yeah, that's the only issue I've ever had, and I sent quite a few in as well.
But they've all turned out well. I have one that I really thought that it would make the machine quieter, and it didn't make it all that much quieter on the Olympia SM7 that I have.
Okay.
But on the Princess and on the Remington and on the Royal, it made everything quieter. And the Royal especially, it's got this bouncy platen. It's really fun to type on. It feels so much better. But I noticed that at least on this Olympia that I have, it didn't make the difference I expected it to. So I'm still glad I had it done, because the platen was rock hard and I was punching through the paper, but it didn't have that sort of quieting effect that it had on the other machines. And I'm not sure why. I have heard that some of the rubber they use is slightly softer than they used to have in the old days. I don't know if that's true. Have you heard that?
Could be.
At JG Short, anyway.
Yeah. I have not noticed that the rubber's wrong. Like usually you're looking for between 85 and 95 Shore A hardness, and they've all been within that range. So I have not noticed it being any softer than that.
Maybe the Olympia needs the ring and cylinder adjustment.
Could be. Yeah. I mean, if the type is hitting the platen too hard, which was my problem here on this JP1, was once I recovered the platen with an extra layer of rubber, it was a good millimeter out of true, And that meant that the type bars were still hitting harder than it was supposed to.
Oh.
And so that's why I had to adjust the ring and cylinder on it.
If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Ted, is if you put the ribbon on the white, the no print setting, and if you move the type bar up to push it against the ring and cylinder, don't push it by the type bar, by the head of the type bar, and put a piece of paper between the type bar, between the slug and the platen, you should be able to barely move a piece of paper.
That's exactly the way you measure that, except you have a sheet of paper in the roller.
Yeah,
so
right.
What you're trying to do with that second sheet is to emulate the ribbon.
Okay.
The thickness of the ribbon. So basically, when you bring your type bar up, you're looking for that little slip of paper that you're putting in there to just be able to barely slip out. It should have just enough tension to slip out, and that tells you that your typeface is hitting the ribbon and hitting the paper, but not going past that point.
So try that, check it out. Maybe it's just going too far, and maybe that's making the sound too loud.
This sounds like a video that needs to be made.
It sounds like a video that needs to be made. I wonder who could do that.
Yeah, I wonder who could do that. Hey, Joe, you want to do a collaborative video on that?
I'd like to.
You guys should totally do that.
Sure. We should.
Yes,
we should
Ted
plan
Monk.
that.
We should. Seriously.
I've got this machine that I adjusted out, and
you can also gap spark plugs for lawnmowers doing that too.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, okay.
Because that's basically what you're doing is you're
a cool trick.
You're setting where that type bar goes to be exactly as far as it needs to go and no farther.
Right.
And that's and then when you're checking platen parallel, you do that on either side to make sure that the tension is the same on both sides.
Right. Right.
And that tells you that your platen is parallel inside the track.
That sounds like something, Sarah, you could check though pretty easily.
Yes. Yes. I'm going to try that. That sounds really like a cool trick. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I should probably check that. Go ahead.
My battery's getting ready to die on my laptop here, so I'm going to have to check out. But thanks for letting me join you guys. It's really been a pleasure.
Thanks so much, Bill.
It was fun talking to you.
And you guys all have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and
happy holidays.
I'll be keeping tabs on your future videos here.
Okay.
Yeah, welcome aboard, and hope you'll join us again next time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Yeah. So I was going to say.
I need
go
to
ahead.
go too.
Oh,
if you
okay.
can tell, the sun is coming out, and this may be my only opportunity to get some vitamin D.
You're so
here in
far
Michigan
north,
with the
right?
solstice.
You only get like 6 hours of
So,
sunlight today, right? Or something?
Yeah. It's time to go for a walk. But
Okay,
I very
enjoy
much
it.
enjoyed this, and thank you all for
Okay.
everything.
Thank you, Emily.
care.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very good.
Bye.
Bye. It's like only the vampires are left.
Yes.
Family's
I-
growing, Gregory.
I probably should be
nighttime-
going because I actually got
nighttime typers.
yes. When I had my phone call interruption a while ago, it was my friend Kevin. He's inviting me over to do some typing on his front porch this afternoon with cigars and gin and tonics or something like that. So
sounds like a horrible
Typewriter
time.
play date.
it's a
That's
terrible
so cute.
thing to do. I know.
Yeah, horrible.
I love it.
So I know what I'll be doing
You have
this
such a
afternoon.
nice porch.
It is a nice, yes, you've been there, Diane. You know, that's right.
Oh,
Anyways.
that's cool. Well, I'm happy
Okay,
for
guys.
you. Have fun.
Well, so Ted, let's arrange a video project, right? Give me an email or something.
Let's do that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Archivist@typewriterdatabase.com.
Okay. Very good.
Really hard to forget.
Yes, I'll write that down now. Okay. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week,
Take
hopefully.
care, Joe.
You guys have a great week and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Happy Hanukkah, Happy
Merry
Kwanzaa.
Christmas.
Okay, Merry Christmas. Bye.
Bye. So how many hours have we gone?
I don't know.
A little over 3.
Oh my goodness, the family's growing.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, I love it.
It always feels like, I don't know. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I should probably test the what we were just talking about before I send the platen, because I think that might actually be the issue with the FP.
It could be.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have the instructions right there in your book.
Yes. Very excited. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna check that first, and I mean, if that's the issue, then that's great. It'll save me $85 or $100 or whatever.
Check ring and cylinder. That is a good thing to check when things are
Ted,
not
while I
super
got
right.
you, while you're on, and I'll admit I haven't looked at your website very well, but I do have one or two of your Bibles. But do you have one that's specifically for the quiet writer at all? The Remington quiet writer.
The Remington portables. One has the ANQR and AR models in there, which is the quiet writer, the all new. So that'd be 1949 through 57, I think.
Perfect.
Maybe 59.
Okay.
Yeah, 59.
And then Gregory, the one that you held up with the Royals, does that one include the Quiet Deluxe?
No, that's the standards.
That's the standards.
The standards. Yeah. Okay. Is there one for the Quiet Deluxes at all?
I generally use the Royal Saber Bible, which is just it's the later larger shelled, made in Portugal machine.
The Saber.
It's basically the same as a quiet writer.
Okay, well, it looks like I got 2 books I'll be ordering soon. So.
Yeah, I refer to that, and also to in the manual Bible itself. There's a section on the 1940s Royal Portable.
That's what I have. Yeah, I think mine's
so
there's 48. I think.
Yeah, the Saber Bible will have more details, and it's written in kind of a more readable English.
Okay.
So
perfect.
Less of that 40s slang.
Well, folks, I'm going to say Merry Christmas to all of you as well and take off. So,
all right.
Merry
Christmas.
Merry
for
Christmas,
letting
Dan.
me join in again. You as well, Sarah.
Yeah.
And all
Thank
of you
you.
guys. We'll talk
Thank
to you soon,
you.
okay?
See you next time.
Take care.
All right. Have fun. Bye-bye.
All right. So before we wrap up here, I do want to just mention and throw it out there that if you go to typepals.com, you'll see the topics listed. You can also take the survey, which I recommend. And
survey.
So for next week, the last episode of the year, we're having typewriter hacks. So any tips or tricks you have as far as like solving problems or making your typewriter work a little bit better or anything like that.
I don't know anything about that.
I know. You can skip that episode.
I was going to say May and Joe should both be on for that.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
Those guys are the innovators in the group.
Yes,
well, you too. I mean, I've been impressed by the way you guys that have just started this.
I know, it's amazing.
Just this year since COVID have really advanced as far as your knowledge and willingness to really dig in there and fix things. That's been very impressive for me. Encouraging for me.
Thank you very much, Ted. Well, you've inspired us and given us the tools, right?
That's what we want to see happen.
Thank you. We're typewriter sponges.
Yep.
Soaking it up.
You guys are doing really well. I'm very, very pleased to see that.
Thank you. That means a lot.
I have one quick question before we go.
Yes.
I have an Olympia SM4 where the capitals don't print the top all the time.
All the time or just part of the time?
Just part of the time. It's like I've noticed if I backspace and then I hit that key a little harder, it'll do the whole letter. But sometimes just normal typing will not type that capital letter.
That sounds like a ribbon vibrator problem.
Yeah.
Like the vibrator isn't lifting high enough.
Okay.
And so there's a linkage. Which machine is this?
The OM4.
The SM4?
Or the SM4, sorry.
Yeah, so it has, I believe, a linkage that pushes the vibrator up, and you might need to form that so that it pushes a little higher. And it should have a little bend in it that you can open up or close to either raise or lower that positioning.
Okay, I've seen Dwayne's video, but unfortunately that's the SM3 and it's a different mechanism.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I don't know because I don't have an SM4.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, generally a problem with the tops of the letters just occasionally not printing. That's usually a ribbon vibrator problem. So
That's kind of what I thought it was,
Yeah.
but I just thought I'd like to hear it from somebody else too.
Confirm it. Yes.
that's the problem.
I'm wondering
I-
if you could maybe reach out to Jennifer Colombo, who does all of those repaintings, the painted typewriters, because she's an Olympia person. She's always doing Olympias, it seems like.
Mhm.
And I bet she's had to adjust some of those. She might be in the typewriter repair group or something.
What's her name?
Jennifer Colombo.
Oh, okay.
I know she's in ATC. I don't know that she's in the repair group,
Oh, okay.
but you can definitely get a hold of her through the ATC.
Yeah, she's what is it? Colombo Collection
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
on
okay.
Facebook. Yeah, she does custom paint jobs and kind of like, marks them up quite a bit and resells them. But it seems like, yes, quite a bit. Like they're $500 a piece after she's done with them. But she's been doing it for years and she's got tons and tons of Olympias. It seems like that seems to be her favorite one to redo. So I'm guessing she's had some experience with fixing them. I don't know.
Oh,
Give it a
okay.
shot.
Yeah.
Okay,
Who knows?
thanks.
Sure.
All right. Well, excellent. We're well over the 3-hour mark now. So thank you
Sorry,
so much,
Gregory.
everybody. Oh, no. It's my
He
pleasure.
hates it when
My
we do
pleasure.
this.
We like your
But-
club too much.
Oh, thank you. That's why I do this. But
Thank you.
I do want to wish everyone happy holidays and thank you so much for being a part of this. You guys are awesome. You guys have so much
Same to
information
you.
to share and it's just amazing.
Thank you for
And-
hosting.
Oh,
Yes,
you're
thank you
welcome.
for
You're
Yes,
hosting.
welcome.
thank you.
The host
You're
with the
welcome.
most.
Yes.
Especially now that we're on Zoom.
Yep.
Yeah, we
Oh
truly
my goodness.
appreciate it. Mhm.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much. And again, keep in mind for your typewriter hacks for next week. So that's on the
Typewriter hacks.
27th.
All right.
So yeah. All right. So thank you so
All right.
much. And we will see you next time.
All
See you
right.
next
Bye,
time.
Gregory. Happy
Bye.
holidays,
Bye.
everyone.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye.